Spare him, my lord Raiden. American life has enfeebled his mind. Too much television. Welcome to Morally Offensive, a podcast that sincerely apologizes for pointing out how weird it is that Christopher Lambert, a Frenchman, plays Raiden, a character based on the Japanese deity Raijin, and whose signature costume includes a rice hat. I'm Bill.
I'm Cisco.
And today we are talking about the 1995 action film inspired by the arcade game Mortal Kombat!
This is a podcast about the films condemned or considered morally offensive by the Catholic Church.
We both grew up Catholic, and now we're not, for reasons, but we're still fascinated by the religion that raised us. The films we cover are selected from the official film review lists of the Legion of Decency, RIP, and the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. I'm a motion graphics designer, editor, and DJ.
And I'm a film podcaster and writer.
And together we are on a journey to watch every film condemned or considered morally offensive. Cisco, we are watching this movie because supposedly there's a new Mortal Kombat coming out, but then I Googled it and I noticed that the date is 2016. What's happening?
Or
2026.
They just
Add 10.
It was a couple of weeks ago. They just announced that it got pushed back, and we already had booked this. You know, we have a special guest here.
We got a schedule, guys. You can't do this to us.
I didn't want to just reschedule for, hey, are you free next year? You know, let's just get this out of the way. Also, there's more than one. There's a Mortal Kombat remake that we could do that's on the list. So maybe next year, you know, we're not scheduling it yet. But
strictly speaking, too, this is not a morally offensive movie. The sequel to this is a morally offensive movie.
Oh, God.
But we thought it wouldn't make any sense to do the
sequel first.
This is the Final Destination problem
that happened with us before, yep.
But again, it's that whole thing of like, it's so inconsistent because they're both
the same.
Like, yeah, it's
one's just significantly worse.
I think different people reviewed it. That's all I can figure out. Somebody with like, I don't know.
And yeah, the remake came out like 2021, like pandemic era. And
it's a lost film.
I reviewed that back when it came out, and I had a podcast reviewing stuff during that time.
I did not know that there was a Mortal Kombat film in the 2010s, and even before that, like there was 2007 or 8 or 9 or something.
There's been so many.
Like the Chun-Li movie.
So many.
Yeah.
And then that's not even
Street Fighter. Never mind.
Yeah, that's Street, whatever. But there's been straight to DVD ones, like animated one. It's a very popular franchise. They'll keep pumping out games and movies probably forever, like because Mortal Kombat is such a iconic video game, recognizable name.
Well, and really, this is an excuse to both make it timely, but also to talk about the video game, the reaction to the video game, and also just like, you know, sort of hand-wringing over video games, which I think definitely plays into what we're
That's why I thought it would be perfect fit. Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, let's introduce our special guest who's been sitting here waiting. We have Aaron Devine from Devine Gamer Arma on Twitch. How have you been, man?
Yeah, I've been good. I have been good until I watched this movie. Oh my God, I had nightmares last night. Oh my God, it was just insane in the membrane.
Oh, there we go. There you are.
Goodness, perfect. There we go. Awesome. But yeah, everyone, hi. My name is Divine Gamer Arma. I stream on Twitch. I'm a variety streamer. I just stream whatever the cuss word I want, you know, anime, comic
you can
books.
Swear on this podcast too, by the way.
Oh, awesome. I just wanted to be funny real quick, but fucking great. Also,
some people like ask that when they're like, can we swear in here?
Can we swear?
It's a fucking podcast.
Yeah, it's a fucking podcast, right?
It's a fucking podcast. Come on.
Yeah. So I just stream like whatever I want. And I'm into like anime, comic books, video games, board games, card games. I'm just a general geek.
All the things.
You know, and I was extremely excited when Cisco asked me if I wanted to join in on this podcast and what we guys would be talking about, because I've studied film, digital studies, television studies a lot,
that's how we met. Yeah, we went
to we met.
Film school that track together, AWM, and we took the same class that Jess was teaching. We were talking about that yesterday.
That was beautiful.
And so that's our mutual between all three of us. Jess, who was on our Babyface episode,
and who's now a co-host on the show.
Yeah.
So. Oh goodness! Wow, that's awesome. Love that. Yeah. So that's how we met, and I'm just really excited to talk about Mortal Kombat and the stuff surrounding this.
I think that's the most interesting part about it for us is just like everything that goes along with this culturally, and as far as our podcast, the hand-wringing about violence in video games. Do video games cause violence?
Which I wrote a paper about in college too.
Yeah, so we have a lot to talk about, even though there's not a lot about it that revolves around this movie.
Yeah. I do want to make a quick note that I relate to you guys in a way that you get that I grew up religious as well, but I am extremely not religious anymore myself.
Yeah, exactly.
So looking at things, in a retrospective.
We used to ask guests that before, but now it's kind of like it's up to you if you want to bring it up.
No, absolutely, and I absolutely I had to bring it up just now because I think that's another thing we can all relate to, and just bring more to the conversation. Absolutely.
Yeah, because years of playing Mortal Kombat has not made me demonic, unfortunately.
Maybe burnt a few brain cells. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah. I agree.
And we were talking about there was just a newer Mortal Kombat game that came out within the last year or so.
Mortal Kombat 1.
And you look at some of the fatalities in the newer games compared to the stuff that when we were kids and those Mortal Kombat games, and they're so much worse now.
There are compilations on YouTube.
Look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, you're like
I gotta do that.
Yeah, there are compilations on YouTube of these finisher moves and these fatalities. But also, and I love this, you get dialogue from actual developers who worked on the game, and they put in their 2 cents on what they did to create these freaking crazy scenes. And it's just you can say what you want about story, gameplay, but one thing's for sure, and I'm glad that they never fuck up on these, is the fatalities just get crazier and crazier every single entry. And it's
nice.
The one game you guys make, if you fuck up these fatalities, that's when these things will really start going downhill.
Honestly. And that's kind of the disappointing part in all of the movies that have come out, is that they don't deliver on that.
They really don't.
If you don't,
I was shocked by that in this movie. There's not really a focus on the fatalities.
Well, and I guess when I was looking at information for the movie, they wanted it to be PG-13 so hard.
Yeah,
and so you can't have that extreme ultra violence. Where people's limbs are being used to beat them to death, and stuff like that. And the remake is rated R, and they kind of go harder with that. But then they got simple shit wrong. There's not even a tournament in the remake, which what? The whole time I was scratching my head, going, "What?"
Yeah.
Or I remember the protagonist in the remake as well is some random dude. He's kind of the audience surrogate character, which is fine. I kind of wish that this 95 movie had that we were talking about.
Yeah.
But there's so many characters in Mortal Kombat for you to choose and they just made up a composite character for the remake. And again, it was just simple shit they were getting wrong in the remake. And so I still don't think there's been a good Mortal Kombat movie, unfortunately, including this one.
Oh, I agree. And just to bring up video game movies in general, that speaks to the fact that, and this really is a fact whether y'all like it or not.
No, I think when it comes to video game fans would have to agree.
Video game fans would absolutely agree. When it comes to, let's say there's a scale for video game movies, it ranges from shit to mid.
Yeah,
that's it.
Mid is even pushing it.
Mid is even pushing
usually
it.
Awful. They're usually just god awful.
Yeah. One example, Doom. There was a Doom movie.
Starring The Rock.
Unfortunately. And on top of that movie was too much like Doom and too little like Doom. And how do you do both extremes of this scale, put them both in the movie to create the shit sandwich that was that movie?
That's the problem we kind of were discussing yesterday, that I think the reason video game movies don't work is it's just the mediums are so different like so kind of like you have 90 minutes to tell a story that encapsulate a video game, which usually, your average video game was what, like 10 to 20 hours, like on the short side.
Yeah.
And then it goes like longer from there. How do you condense all of that while keeping what makes the video game so fun to play?
Yep.
Because and then even, watching this movie, I'm like, I just want to play Mortal Kombat.
Right.
Like, I don't want to watch some of these badly choreographed fights.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Like I could be playing this right now.
Right.
Even with something great, like, I mean, some of the TV, like Last of Us.
Well,
that's the thing. TV
Fallout
has kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
Because you have that extended time.
You have that extended time to have the character development that you would see
in a video game.
Fallout, the new
show
is good.
Fallout. Oh, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
But even then, it's like, I love Fallout, the movie, but then I'm just like, but I want to get back in the wasteland. And,
but we are in kind of a peak era in terms of video game adaptations because it's TV. Because they figured it out. Oh, this is how you adapt it. Because even we were looking up like best video game movies.
Yeah.
You look through that list. Do yourself a favor and Google search best video game movies.
Yeah.
It is
Wing Commander.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog 1 through 3 is like the top. Is like the top 5.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it's like, wow, we really haven't had.
We haven't had much. Like the
I do enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna say though, if it wasn't called Super Mario Brothers, I do enjoy the Mario Brothers movie as not being a Mario Brothers movie, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense.
As like a weird cyberpunk camp movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. I'm kind of there, but and of course, Dennis Hopper. I mean, that movie's crazy, but it's not a Super Mario Brothers movie.
It's just frustrating though. Is like as a kid, fan,
especially
as a fan, like, you're like, what does this have to do with the game? You know what I mean? Like it has absolutely nothing. And then even the new Super Mario Brothers movie, I didn't really enjoy either because it was just like nonsense. Like it was like, I'm like, am I just like not a kid and I can't enjoy this? But it just really had no plot. And that's the thing too, is like you're adapting some of these games with no plot. Like for example, Mortal Kombat, which is just two people fighting.
Right.
What's the story? What's the story there?
Yeah.
And in this movie, they don't figure it out.
They definitely don't figure it out.
There's a tournament. There will be fights interspersed between very cringe dialogue,
extremely cringe dialogue,
trying to be funny, and with the actors delivering those lines half-heartedly. Like,
I wish I'd written down every bad line in this movie. There's a lot.
You would have 10 pages.
You would have 10 pages, or just download the script. And just might as well do that at this point.
Might as well.
Just read off the script.
It's like even like some of the funnier, like I like the part where Liu Kang, like Johnny Cage, is just on some racist shit, and he's like, "Hey, you take my bags on the boat."
Right.
Yes.
And then you said, Aaron was like, "Man,
if I was Liu Kang, I would have like took the money and then just bust him in his shit. I wouldn't have done that."
And I said, just wait, and he takes the money and throws the suitcases in the water, and I was like, "Yeah, fuck that."
I'm like, that's just as
that's
good.
what he deserves.
I can live with that.
I do love that Johnny Cage is supposed to be Jean-Claude Van Damme, because Van Damme was too busy to do this.
Yeah,
that's what I was kind of telling him the history of that. Like, again, Mortal Kombat has so much history that's interesting more than the movie.
You're
but right. It's inspired the video game. Actually, like the first Mortal Kombat video game is inspired by Bloodsport, the movie, which in itself is like a quote unquote based on true events. To the death tournament from this like huckster Frank Dukes, who Jean-Claude Van Damme is portraying in the movie. And then they wanted to put him in the game. He said no. And so they made this Johnny Cage character. So that's where Johnny Cage comes from. But yeah, he's one of the like, I would say like if you were going to make a surrogate character, that does make the most sense. He's an American movie star.
Right.
You even if you can't relate to him, like as an audience member, I do like when he's out of his element. You know what I mean? That's always fun. And so I guess for the new Mortal Kombat movie that was supposed to come out, the rumors are that he's the main character.
And a lot of people are complaining about that, but in my mind, as from a story perspective,
it makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like, what's a funny angle that like the audience, the average like moviegoer can relate to?
Right.
Fish out of water, you're yanked out of your environment and you're reacting to this like crazy place, which this is a crazy place they go to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Well, and he's like just like he's like a spoiled rich guy. That's like, you know what I mean? He has all these bags, this luggage. And it totally makes sense.
The problem with this version is there's no growth, there's no journey there. He just is the same person at the end of the movie.
Yep.
Exactly.
Which really what you need is that transformation.
Those are two of the big problems we both were pointing out. Is like there's no main character. You just have like a cast of very bland characters,
random people,
and there's no growth between any of them. We don't learn about. There's kind of they try to make Liu Kang, I guess, is the closest to a main character. He's trying to get revenge, but even that is just like so boring and like
in a lot of cases, and this is coming from narrative wise for the games. Liu Kang has been the main character for a lot of things, right? But that was the focus. Like he was explicitly focused on as the main character. That just simply did not happen here. Period.
Well, speaking of the video game, let's get into it. Let's talk about what is Mortal Kombat. What is this video game?
Right. So let's see here. So Mortal Kombat is more or less the most popular fighting game in the world. I can say that. I can confidently say that.
It's either that or Street Fighter.
Right. Yep. Tekken, I'd say probably third.
But in terms of longevity, Mortal Kombat I think has. Yeah. You don't get many new Street Fighter games as much.
No, you don't.
No, that brand definitely has like legs still. Yeah.
Yeah. The recent Mortal Kombat 1 is essentially a reset of the story. Because Raiden, he was like the elder god who was the protector of Earth Realm, and all the bullshit happened under his watch. But spoilers for those who haven't played the game, but bullshit happens, and Liu Kang is now the new god. Now in Raiden's place,
kind of,
pretty much the new Raiden. And Raiden, gets reincarnated, but he's just a regular human. And honestly, they kind of switch places because Liu Kang and Kung Lao, those were like the god pair essentially, but it's now Raiden and Kung Lao, which I'm like, it feels a little weird, but okay, that's fine, whatever.
Well, like casting aside, we also were being like, Raiden is so lame in this movie.
Oh my god!
And in the games, he is one of the only characters from the original game that's in every single because he's recognizable. Fans love him. Like we were talking about, like probably the only other characters that you could say that about would be Scorpion. Sub-Zero and Liu Kang.
Yep.
Absolutely. That have lasted through like out everyone that fans expect to see those characters in every game, every movie. Yeah.
Well, that's why I felt it was so disappointing to see this movie and see Raiden not really being active in it.
Right.
And then Sub-Zero and Scorpion are both slaves of the main villain, which is
I couldn't tell if Raiden being in the background was like a good or bad thing though, because I was not feeling the performance.
No, I was not.
Christopher Lambert?
No.
I made a note.
He was doing that kind of gravelly voice, which was a choice.
Yep.
And he was just like trying to like the character of like kind of jokey, you know.
It was weird.
It was weird. It like, really didn't feel like how my idea of how he'd be portrayed from the games would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his portrayal from the games, he's like this solemn, wise, stoic guy who will throw down if he has to. That's the thing. He will throw down if he has to. This guy, he just showed up, talked shit, and left. Like, I made a note saying, I don't like Frenchman Raiden. Like, that's my note. In like in parentheses, I also said it's Geralt of Rivia from like Witcher. Like that's who I saw more than anything else.
He looks like.
Yeah. And I call him a coward too. So I don't.
And we should mention we did get kind of dragged on threads for pointing,
I saw that
for pointing that out. So Mortal Kombat fans are super normal.
Super normal.
Totally. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The guy who played him was white in the video game.
It's like
okay, boss. That's not really.
He's a recognizable name. It's like that doesn't make a casting okay, you know, for roles that don't deserve it, you know?
Yeah, right. Like this is like simple. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
like I get it was the 90s and like, you know, it wasn't the most diverse era.
But also,
you know?
like, there were guys like, I mean, here, this guy, Chow Yun-Fat could have been.
Oh, yeah.
It's 1995. He just done Hard Boiled in 1992.
Okay, how about this one? We were talking yesterday about Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have said Donnie Yen. But he just, like, God, Once Upon a Time in China 2. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't heard
about
that one.
Ip Man yesterday.
We were talking Ip Man. Oh my God, love Donnie.
Because we're huge, and like the character he plays in Rogue One Donnie Yen, is basically a Raiden-esque character.
Yeah,
that is true.
It was amazing.
He's blind in that, and he's like, the wise like overseer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, they could have cast somebody in that part to make it more elevated. Even if he's not fighting, make his presence more felt instead of like, this guy's annoying as fuck. Can he leave? Like, I was just that's how I felt every scene where he's like, just this generic lines like, you have what it takes. All right, guys, I'll be over here eating a baguette. Like, no.
I agree. Donnie Yen would have been great casting because
it might have been before he was necessarily popular in America, though.
Right?
Like,
that's true.
Well, because this was even before Jackie Chan and Jet Li transitioned to America.
This is as it's about to happen because Jet Li, he's in Once Upon a Time in China 2 with Jet Li in 1992.
Okay.
After, I think, Once Upon a Time in China 3, Jet Li leaves the franchise, and that's when he starts doing stuff in America. I think Rumble in the Bronx is like 94 from Jackie Chan's, which is like his first U.S. film. So, I mean, Donnie Yen could have been doing this. They could have gone and said,
they could have taken that chance either way. But.
And honestly, and people did tell me, like, they're like, some people, they want a general audience to wonder why they would want to see this movie, so they needed star power. And I was kind of like, yeah, but it's the kind of person going to see Mortal Kombat
was going to go anyway.
Right. So why not just put in people who are? This is like the Cats problem. Not to bring up Cats again.
Oh God,
we talked about Cats.
We did though. We did talk about Cats.
Cats' biggest problem is they're casting all these names like Taylor Swift, and it's like no. Put Broadway people in there. Put dancers in there.
Yeah, Broadway people,
and you
dancers.
can tell in that movie, the best parts of that movie almost always involve people who have done theater.
Yep.
Like it's
so
dancers
coming
or theater performers. I'm sorry, Cats is just
no, because it came up yesterday. We were talking about it. I'm so surprised that it's coming up again.
Not that it fixes everything wrong with that movie.
No,
but it does make some of it more forgivable if you had that.
Well, that was
the scenario.
The best part of that movie was Jennifer Hudson because she's an actual singer and could hit those songs. You know what I mean?
And then the part where they just let the dancing people. There's a scene where it's like all dancer cats on a rooftop. And they're dancing, and it's incredible because you're like, oh, these people actually know how to fucking dance.
Yeah.
And I think that's my thing with this movie, too. There's some bad fight scenes in this movie. There's some good ones, really too. Bad. Yeah. But, like, I like the reptile scene. The reptile the reptile fight scene is pretty great.
With the one with Liu Kang at the end?
Liu Kang,
that was a good one. That honestly was better than the final fight that he had. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't remember the final fight.
I don't blame you.
I know what it is.
Where he kicks him off the ledge and he falls on the spiky.
That kick could have been like a bicycle, like his signature bicycle kick, or it could have been like it's like that jumping kick that he does.
That little in the air bicycle kick.
Yeah,
he does that in the lizard fight.
But it's done with wires in a way that like looks like he's like pooping his pants and then moving his legs around. I mean,
yeah.
But you need to have it.
Maybe
you need
that's
to have it. Just like the Johnny Cage doing the splits and punching in the nuts. Right. That's one of his signature moves. You know.
Yep.
So like when they have that, those are just for the fans, pretty much.
Yep,
you know what I mean? Regular people probably won't recognize that.
But I did feel like this could have been. It's like if you're not going to hire people for their acting skills, at least hire them for their fighting skills.
Right.
And that's the thing too. It was like I was wondering. I'm like, are some of these guys martial artists? And is that why they're such bad actors? Because that was always the issue with martial arts films. I'm a huge martial arts film guy.
Van Damme.
Where like the acting was never that good, but then you would forgive it because the fighting was amazing.
Yeah, the fighting.
You were like, at least they know how to do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? In this one, it was like the fighting was lame and the acting was bad. It's like that's kind of unforgivable.
Yeah, that's kind of no. I mean, that's why somebody like Jackie Chan's incredible. Was incredible because it's like he could do really great comedic acting, but also
honestly comedic fighting too.
Yep.
Like Jackie Chan,
he's a clown, is what he is.
Yeah, like Jackie Chan's like probably the only martial artist like film guy that I've ever watched where I would laugh during his fights.
Oh yeah,
because I don't know how he did it.
He'd be like, no, like backing away, not trying to fight, and just using like every single piece of furniture in the room. Like you loved it. I loved it.
I will say, Sammo Hung, who he worked with a lot, also another guy. Worth watching his movies because he's kind of like, and it's cool because
that was like his mentor.
And I love Sammo Hung because his body type is kind of like atypical.
Bigger guy.
Like, he's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And man, he is like a great fighter and funny at the same time. Definitely recommend checking out some of his stuff. I just watched Eastern Condors. It was great.
So. I also want to mention too that like I can even trace a longer timeline. So like Bloodsport being the inspiration for the Mortal Kombat game series, which then led to this movie. I can even go farther back and say Bruce Lee definitely inspiration for like Liu Kang.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of missing that in this movie too. In the video games, it gets kind of annoying with you're fighting someone that's doing Liu Kang. He's doing all the Bruce Lee noises.
Yeah.
I also want to point out the plot of this movie, same plot as Enter the Dragon.
That's what I was going to say. The tournament style of Mortal Kombat, I think, is directly ripped from, you could say Bloodsport, but then Bloodsport is ripped from Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, Enter the Dragon is that's where
if you guys don't know,
there.
It's a fight to the death tournament.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a great movie you should see.
Mm-hmm.
It is on the
way
list,
better than Bloodsport or this movie.
Amen to that.
I believe it is morally offensive, so we might be able to. I think it was condemned, so we might be able to cover it one day.
Ooh.
So
yeah,
I'll look at. I gotta make sure, but we'll look into it.
But yeah, just wanted to point that just because you can see the inspirations like while you're watching this movie, but it doesn't result in something that's even close to some of those inspirations. Like I think Bloodsport's even a better movie than Mortal Kombat is.
Yeah,
because it's at least like kitschy, fun.
Yeah.
It's a low budget, but they still filmed on location, and it's one of those I think what is the Canon Films?
Yeah, it's Canon.
They always would pump out those low budget martial arts films that you just wanted. Like there's at least there's stakes in that. You know what I mean? At least you have a main, like the bare minimum. There's a main character.
Dude.
There's stakes in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I don't even know what the structure of the tournament is in this movie.
Yeah,
like give me a board with names on it that just slide across when somebody. You know what I mean? Like give me a March Madness chart. I don't know.
This is like a superhero problem I have too, like superhero movie problem, where when the stakes are, which we're told by Raiden in this movie, like billions of people will die. The fate of the universe is in peril, which we never really see.
Right.
No,
to be honest, in this movie, which is a problem. But even when you do see it in superhero movies, it's such a large, task to do that, to pull that off. And so that's why all my favorite superhero movies are like the smaller origin stories.
No, I agree.
Character-based ones compared to like, unless you're doing the build up for like Infinity War, doing the build up for that, which took phase 1 and all these. But you can't just spring that in a random movie and then expect us to go along. You have to establish that in some way, and they don't do that in the movie.
They don't. Like like you were saying, when it comes to narratives, you just like for video games, films, they are definitely a lot more effective when the stakes have never been lower.
I mean, we don't see billions of people in the universe. We see this one village at the beginning that at the end they're waving flags and going, "Yeah, you did it." It's like that's.
I don't understand. Like, what is this world we're in? Are we just on an island? Like, what's happening?
And it seems like the rules keep changing. You know what I mean?
That too,
It's like it was hard to grasp. Like you said, like what. Like when you win a fight, what does that mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
At least in Bloodsport, it's like it's like the Karate Kid thing where it's like you see their name moving up in the tournament and stuff like that.
What's the deal? Like Shang Tsung, you fight two people, a good guy. This is the two. There's like a good faction and a bad faction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but they're not friends with each other.
No,
but they're good. Somehow one side is good and one side is bad.
Because one side wants to destroy the universe, the bad side, and so that. By taking over Earthrealm or whatever. And honestly, we were talking about the game stories, you never play the game for the stories, even though they put it in there.
Right.
Because they're also incoherent and
they're more or less incoherent.
And because they're fighter games and characters can't die necessarily, they're always bringing them back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just if we could come on here and try and explain even the story from the video games, it would just be a waste of time.
It would be. It honestly would be. And I also want to bring up, this will be relevant. So trust me. So how I got into Mortal Kombat, like I knew it existed, but I was in like freshman year of high school. And a friend of mine, he was like, "Hey, I just got this like Mortal Kombat game, but I don't have the time to play it at the moment. Like, can you like test it out for me and let me know what it's like?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure."
What?
Yeah, I know. So what he did was like he gave me on PlayStation 2 a copy of Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks.
Oh,
now this is a.
Are there any French people in it? Because.
There's a southern.
That seems like it'd be perfect casting for a French guy to play one of those Shaolin monks.
You know what? I don't think so. Honestly, I'm playing through. I was just playing it before I came through here. No, you're right though. But no, there's no French people in that one. I don't think there's a Texas dude for some reason, but whatever. That's besides the point. I don't even know who he is.
Honestly,
but like,
a Texas dude in this movie would make it better.
It honestly would have, yeah.
Funny.
Well, like, I don't know where this guy come from, but he's cool. But it's like this, like the Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks was not the traditional like side-scrolling fighting game. It was a 3D like not like third-person-ish point of view, but it's like kind of like a co-op sort of thing where you can play with someone else if you want, but you can also play the story solo. But the combat was surprisingly amazing. Every single character that you could play as had their own it was like extremely unique individual moveset. Like they took the time to go, okay, you're playing Liu Kang. Liu Kang does Liu Kang things. Kung Lao does Kung Lao things. You put in cheat codes. Guess what? You get to play as Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the story as well. And their own movesets are just so fucking brutal. It's beautiful. But like the story for this, there is a tournament involved. But how this tournament works is that they're not necessarily trying to like destroy the universe or anything. It's just Shang Tsung is being, a greedy piece of shit because there was a tournament that just happened. Like in the beginning of the game, you start out with everybody like fighting, but you've got Shang Tsung and you've got like people like Goro and like, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, blah, blah, blah. And like everybody's like all fighting each other. But then Shang Tsung is getting his ass whooped by Liu Kang. And he's like, he pretty much is a sore loser and just brings the whole temple down on everyone and all that stuff. But it's essentially trying to like go, hey, this tournament's still happening. You can't end this because you're a sore loser. So narrative wise, you play as Liu Kang and Kung Lao. You play as the Dream Team. These two together don't fucking play. Like this gameplay is beautiful. And
well, that's part of the, I think the fun of the game.
That's the fun of the game.
Is like that we were talking about that like this movie doesn't capture is like playing with someone against someone. You kind of even lose that with the online stuff now.
Oh, you really do.
You really do.
Like
you absolutely
you
do.
In a room with someone yelling at each other and like trying to finish each other, in the game. And that's the fun part. That's the, like even that's how it started as an arcade game. Like that's its origin. I feel like the movies don't capture that interactive element or that fun element of like making you a part of it. Like that's why an audience surrogate character is so needed in a movie like this. I
agree.
feel like.
Well, I remember when these machines dropped at the arcades. That's how old I am. But like I'd have my birthday party at the.
I had it on
corner.
Sega.
We had like a corner arcade at like the mall that was kind of like starting to like become abandoned.
Yeah.
But there was a good arcade there, and like for pretty cheap, you could get like a bunch of a bunch of tokens for kids because they give you like discounts on tokens if you bought a ton of them for a birthday party. And so my friends and I would go there and we'd play video games. And I remember Mortal Kombat was like the one that you could, and that and Killer Instinct were the two that you could never get in on. Everybody was just like,
oh wow,
in line to like play them, and it was a big deal. And so I remember like the characters, but watching this, I was like, oh yeah, who are these guys again? And it's funny the characters that stick out because I knew Johnny Cage,
right?
And I remembered like Sub-Zero and Scorpion and Goro because he's just weird and has arms.
Yeah,
but like
arms.
Everybody else, I was like, I vaguely remember all these people, but I didn't remember like who they were, And and Raiden, I did remember Raiden. Raiden has a really strong profile.
Yeah.
But it was like, what was this again? Like, what was it? Because I didn't know
there was no story in that original game. It was literally just tournament style, and that you'd see their square, and you'd go up against another square with their character in it, and you would just work your way up the tournament. Like that was the story.
It was a big deal though because this was, I think, the first game to use like photographic sprites. in the gameplay. So what the animators at Midway did was, and this is so funny to me, as someone who like has to make high quality animation for a living, they took a high video camera, which was this like step above a regular 8mm tape camcorder, and we're talking like standard def, but like the low end of standard def. And they shot all the fight sequences, all of the the sprites for the just the headshots and stuff. That was all done in their offices in Chicago.
What?
With like this high 8 camera. I think they might have had a soundstage or something, like a garage. Right. But it was like not high tech at all. It was very low budget that way. I mean, the game wasn't, but like what they were doing was very just like, we're going to try this new thing. And the way it works is they would shoot the video, take every frame of video that they needed, and then every frame had to be exported essentially, or I don't know how they put it into the actual program of the video game, but basically you had all these stills that would play in sequence together to create the fighting moves.
Yeah.
And it would be at a slower frame rate to make it more economical so that they weren't like having to store a ton of these sprites. Sprites are, it's the term for like every frame of animation. This is popular use in Flash animation in the early days.
Yep.
And it's just crazy to think that like, they basically converted these photos to like limited color images that would then just play in sequence.
Wow.
I think they may have been like 256 colors. It might have been less. I think it was 256 though.
Okay.
So like that's why they look kind of real, but also completely not at the same time.
Yeah.
And Killer Instinct later would be a game that
and the motion is like so weird when they're fighting.
Yeah. if you look at like Mortal Kombat and then go up to like Killer Instinct, I think Killer Instinct was done in a similar way. I'm not a video game expert, but I remember this happening, that it was a very big deal, and I was really interested in it because I was interested in like filmmaking and animation. So, I can't overemphasize like how cool this was when it came out, and I was not allowed to have it because, well, we didn't have a gaming system at home, but also like it was very violent and Catholic, and just parents in general were like very worried about this.
I was just going to say that
not
like
just Catholics,
you can laugh about it now and say like, oh my God, how cheesy does this look and fake or whatever. But like back then, I think that was why it got so much concern, was like, it looks more like humans than other video games, and they're adding fucking blood and gore, and
this is like the great train robbery when people saw the train coming towards the screen and they started like screaming and fainting.
And so they made this like kind of logical leap in their head that like if kids see more realistic humans fighting each other and killing each other, then that's going to make them do that.
Something. Yeah.
Well, and Columbine happened shortly after this. And suddenly every kid who owned a trench coat was getting the side eye from
all the most violent video games like this and Doom got the brunt of the blame.
Oh yeah. Violent video games, The Matrix, movies like Fight Club, and then of course just if you were like a weird like goths immediately were under suspicion because the guys who did Columbine were they were fans of like Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch Nails and stuff. So if you were a goth,
blaming everything but the guns
in high school.
Not much has changed. Let's blame what they were listening to and what they were playing.
I had a trench coat that I'd wear to school on church mass days. I didn't have like a goth like duster or anything because I couldn't afford one, but like I did have like my nice church clothes, and I'd wear them to like I'd wear my trench coat to like church days, and people would call me Trench Coat Mafia as a joke.
Oh man,
oh
Trench Coat Mafia.
Oh no,
I know, and I'm more listening to like weirder music and stuff, so it's just like, but I was a good kid.
But I mean, this was the first game to get, I think, the rated M system going. Because of the so much parents concern. So it's very like, and there was kind of a D bloody version available for kids because of all the complaints and stuff like that. So it did work. Like congressional hearings and the parents complaining did, get heard and did work. Just like, we talked about Temple of Doom before getting the PG-13 rating implemented. You know what I mean? Like, so it is historical in that sense too.
Yeah. And that's why I think it was kind of a bummer when this movie didn't really deliver on that promise.
It's so weird. Yeah, it's like, I get it. They wanted to they wanted the massive audience. That's always the question.
But it's not a family friendly game. Like I get the kids play it, but that's on the parents. That's not really like.
I think we know more about video games now. It's back then it might have been uncharted territory where they were still trying to hedge their bets. Maybe a little bit more.
Just a bit. I definitely when I had gotten Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks from my friend in high school, mind you, I definitely played that game behind my parents' backs because my parents were pastors growing up. So,
similar experiences.
Yeah, similar experience. So they never knew that I had that game. That was one of the secret ones that we just.
Yeah, I couldn't play these games either.
You have like a switcher with like spiritual warfare on the other console, and you just go like, I'm playing spiritual warfare, Mom and Dad, don't mind me.
Ninja Turtles on the other.
This is the only time I'm probably gonna get to talk about spiritual warfare, so let's talk about it real quick. But do you know about spiritual warfare, the video game?
I've never heard of that.
So, okay, I love this. There was a phenomenon of Christian video game companies the 80s and 90s basically stealing other video games programs. They didn't license them or anything, and they would basically skin over the existing programs. Like they'd change all the sprites and everything, and then they would make it about like Moses or the Three Kings, but it would very obviously be like, oh, this is like, I don't remember what
using the same controls.
It's a game you've played. You're like, this is Mario, but I'm riding a camel and shooting spitballs at people.
What the fuck?
Instead of shells.
The ultimate one, my favorite though, is spiritual warfare, and here is why. Spiritual warfare's whole thing is you collect the gifts of the spirit and like holy armor. I think it's like the armor of God or something.
What's the Bible man?
Oh yeah, the armor of God. God. Speaking of Jackie Chan, it's the armor of God from the Armor of God movies.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know. So like basically you collect different fruits of the spirit, which are literal fruits. So you have like bananas, oranges, grapes. I think there's a pomegranate, and you throw them at sinners to convert them. And you gradually collect more fruits, so you have all the fruits of the spirit. And then you also collect the armor pieces that give you like protection. But you like go around throwing pomegranates at pimps and like guys who run bars and people coming out of casinos and shit.
Because that works.
You should do that game on your channel. That would be. I would watch the hell out of that on Twitch. Honestly, I keep thinking about it. If we ever did like a gaming channel, we would just play spiritual warfare.
Oh my god! I
But my favorite part is that like they stole. Like I don't know about spiritual warfare specifically. I can't speak to that one, but I do know a lot of the games stole code from other games, skinned them over, packaged it as like it's the Jesus and Mary and Joseph game or the Noah's Ark game, and they'd be on sale for like $40-$50 at a Christian bookstore, and the parents would be like, well, my kids like video games, I bet they'll like this. And like they were always notoriously buggy and terrible.
Yeah.
And I think spiritual warfare, to its credit, was one of the non-frustrating ones. Like it actually worked correctly. It was just
because it stole the whole frame. Probably that's why.
Yeah, I mean there was one where you're like the three kings and you have a camel and you just literally your only power is you can spit at people and hit them with spitballs.
Oh my god.
I'm just like picturing like they stole the Oregon Trail like programming and just used it for like Moses in the desert or something.
Melchior has dysentery.
Goodness. My fucking A.
You need to get Caspar quinine. He's going to die from shitting his pants.
Oh no. Spiritual
I would play
warfare.
that game. I would play the Three Kings game where they get dysentery. That sounds fun.
Fun. Oh my god. Where do we
go from here? Well, let me tell you. So, obviously, this is a big video game. It's huge. Like many things during this period, they're trying to figure out how to make money off of it. And so they want to make a Mortal Kombat video game. And so they want to make a Mortal Kombat movie. Right. And what you end up with is this, which is at the time I think disappointing for a lot of kids who played the video game. That's my impression. But there are a lot of people who have like strong nostalgia for it, as we found out on Threads.
Yep.
Who are very forgiving about it. And it's how do you talk about this movie?
Well, I was telling you that, like, even for years, like, I remember telling people, like, this was the best video game movie we had for a long time until, like, recent years, which is not saying much.
No.
But it was,
it
was, and I say that, and I think what a lot of people, when they said that, were just saying, like, they had characters from the game, they had the tournament, they had, like, recognizable lines and moves and things like that. So, like, they did adapt it in a way that, like, wasn't, like, this has nothing to do with the video game, which was usually your reaction.
Super Mario Brothers,
Street Fighter, and all those.
Fighter.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people had that reaction. But I mean, it's very slim pickings to pick a good video game movie. Like I know Minecraft just came out or whatever, and they're trying to do it like more now.
I will say I enjoyed a lot of things about Minecraft, but that's mainly because it's from the creators of Napoleon Dynamite and your holiday classic favorite, Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to like about it.
Did you watch it?
I saw it in the hotel randomly when I was out in Seattle, and Jennifer Coolidge is great.
I mean, Jason Momoa looks like he's having fun.
He's having a blast. It's a fun time. It's goofy. It kind of knows that like the fact that they're making a Minecraft movie is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it works. And it has that kind of quirky humor of Napoleon Dynamite and Gentleman Broncos. So if you like those movies, you'll like the Minecraft movie. I was surprised that I was enjoying it. So I turned it on and was like, oh, Jennifer Coolidge is in this movie. I'll watch this. And then I'm like, oh, this is actually really pretty good. Like, who made that? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, okay.
Yeah, usually I felt like the animated stuff was the way to go. Like the animated video game movies, like we were talking about the Pokemon ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Those were like usually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then
when's Q*bert coming out? The Q*bert movie.
Oh God.
But even there's been some animated Mortal Kombat movies that they don't get theatrically released, but like I think those are way better than any of these live action ones because they fully embrace the fatality, like bloody violence, ultra stuff, and like there maybe sometimes I wonder if you could even adapt it to in a live action format, the amount of over the top violence that would make that and still maintain it like to be fun. But I'm like, I mean, John Wick does it, and there's a lot of other like action franchises that do it. Maybe not to the extent where like you're ripping someone's skull out and like their spine out, but like I don't know. It's an interesting
time for it though, because I mean we've got Daredevil now, so it's not.
True.
I mean, not Daredevil. I'm sorry.
Wait,
we've got Deadpool now.
Yeah,
and like we've proven that comic book movies that are rated R can do well. So why not video game movies?
Right. I think when it comes to making video game movies, one of the biggest things to keep in mind is that the people who are developing these movies, I think it would be extremely helpful if the people who were developing these movies were gamers themselves.
Or that's usually not the case.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Yeah, that's usually not the case.
Like we're both huge fans of God of War.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're making a God of War movie or TV show or something. TV show. And did you see that the creator's like, I just can't get into the games, and everyone's like,
oh no,
that's
how you know you're screwed.
Why are you doing it then?
No, like no.
But the Witcher show, you brought up The Witcher. That's another critically acclaimed.
That was pretty
one
fun.
that they did.
Yeah, that
good
was
job
fun.
with.
Like, I like that one.
But again, a TV show.
Yeah,
not a movie.
Yeah, a TV show.
I also think it helps if the video game has story elements that are really strong in general. I mean, Fallout has an incredible story. It's got great just like atmosphere and vibes, and there's so many ways you could go with it. There's all these different like factions that interact with each other. Last of Us makes a lot of sense because it's a survival game.
I was telling him about that yesterday, that my master's thesis was about The Last of Us, specifically like adapting it for TV.
Right.
But like, I guess kind of my argument was like, the reason it's such a good TV show is Last of Us has one of the best narratives in all of video games.
Right.
Like you would really have to try to fuck that up.
I was saying you'd have to invent an award for fucking up something so bad.
It was already right there. Everything was right there. They have like a lot of cutscenes in that original game. And interestingly, I was going to bring this up too. I was trying to figure out a way to bring this up, but like in the TV show adaptation, they adapt kind of a side mission in the video game, which was interesting, Left Behind, where you see like Ellie's backstory, kind of this like side mission, how she got to where she got to, falling in love, and they go to this arcade. There's this broken down mall. They go to this arcade and they play this arcade game together, and it's like, wow, this is what humans used to do together. I thought it was like a really brilliant meta moment in the game. What they adapted that for the TV show, which was weird because it's a side mission. It's not part of the main game.
Right.
And instead of the made up game they had for the game, they used Mortal Kombat 2.
Yes.
And so they played Mortal Kombat 2 together. And so they're doing fatalities, this brutal, killing each other, but they're also falling in love and doing like, this is what humans do to bond and connect. And it's like, again, they don't capture that in this movie, but that is like the beautiful thing about even the most violent video games is that kind of interactive element.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I missed we play Lego games a lot here actually at our house.
We were talking about Lego too.
Yes.
Lego games are great.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Brilliant.
I did just load. I got GoldenEye on my Xbox and the remaster they did, and
my wife
can't get into it though. She's like, I don't understand. Like, this looks terrible. I'm like, it was so cool when it dropped in the 90s. Come on.
It's one of the best. What is that? Based on a movie games though.
Sure. No, I mean that game got so much mileage. I mean, we played so much GoldenEye back in the day. Like, because it's 4 players, so you can get a pizza, have your friends over, play, and like everybody's mostly able to play the whole time. That's the other thing. Like, so much of video game culture back in the day was like, if you had a game that was like a single player, you got to switch, and eventually somebody's going to get greedy and keep going.
Yep.
And you got to be like, bro, you got to, come on.
Time's up.
Right.
But GoldenEye, you could do multiplayer, and you could all be, and then you might help each other finish some missions.
Well, if you needed a port too to have like 4 players. If you had a rich friend that had that, you could plug in more than 2 controllers.
I thought didn't the N64
the Nintendo 64 you could plug in 4 controllers.
That was the big deal because on the original NES. Like,
I didn't have one. Maybe that's why.
Got you. Okay.
I didn't have an N64 ever, but my friends did. I never had a system until
I had Sega, which I think only had 2, and then like PlayStation. I think you needed that like port to
if you want to play like with more than 2 people.
I did play on the original Nintendo once with 4 controllers because my cousins had like an adapter for the Turtles arcade game specifically.
That's what I was thinking of. The Turtles, they had the 4 Turtles. It was perfect because you just got 4 friends.
So it was a big deal. Like you got the adapter, you can play with all 4 Turtles. That was cool.
Yeah.
But really GoldenEye was like, with N64 putting 4 ports standard on the front, suddenly you got 4 people playing GoldenEye.
But it's weird to think about. I love that they put that in the game. It's weird to think about that, but like going to the arcade would have been considered a date. You could have taken a date to go there.
I mean, we still do that because we have barcades now for adults.
True. Yeah, that is true.
But
there was a gap where that was not a thing.
That's the nostalgia factor that we're talking about. You know what I mean? Of like, this used to be a thing or whatever. But
I mean, I feel bad kids don't really have arcades to go to because the arcades that exist so I got a story. I was at like a mall out on the west side a few weeks ago. I think like west suburbs, close though. And it's dead inside. We were there was an estate sale that ended up being inside this dead mall that was in like some old like JCPenney or something.
I think they're just called malls now. No, you don't have to say dead mall.
It's dead.
They're all dead.
Yeah, it's a mall. So it's like in this old like JCPenney or something, and it was like all these estate sale vendors who had just piled a bunch of crap in there to like sell. It was wild.
Yeah.
But I'm walking into the bathrooms and I pass this arcade and I'm like, oh, an arcade. It's still open.
Oh, I know.
I go in there. It's like an open door. There's no one running a counter or anything. No like tickets or anything like that. It's literally all these like Vegas style like gambling looking machines that are like big like carnival games, but like no one's in there. It's quiet. There's no music playing. And there's just these games running. And I'm like, this is so lonely.
Oh.
Yeah.
And depressing. It was wild.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, yeah. And they're arcades are just like us. They're social in nature just because like you could play one of those games by yourself, but it's always more fun if you have another person there.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think, I mean, as much as we talk about like things like Steve Bannon purposefully targeting, online gamers and trying to indoctrinate people that way, it is interesting how like, this sort of like isolation, but building community through the online community has all these like weird pitfalls to it. Then people aren't really hanging out like one-on-one with their friends anymore. So their interactions are all online.
Right.
We lost something with the sort of like ubiquitous nature of couch co-op games. They're not as popular as they once were. They're harder to find, and it's harder to find good ones. And I do miss that. I try to find them when I can because I like playing with. I like having people over to play games. You know?
Yeah, I struggle with the online stuff, man, and the fact you have to pay to
that too.
The access to have online. You know what I mean? Like that's another thing where I'm like. On
PC you don't have to. That's the thing. If you're a gamer on a PC, you don't have to. But for whatever reason, on consoles, you have to pay to get onto the network to play your game, which is crazy. I get it's a moneymaker.
And I know some people use like Discord and things like that to like get around that, but I don't know. Still, it's not the same. It isn't. I hate to sound like an old head, but
you're right. It honestly isn't the same.
It's just not the same thing.
It's not. It's really not.
Well, it's like vinyl isn't the same thing as streaming. I think that's pretty objective. Like streaming is convenient.
Right.
It's nice, but man, putting on a record, putting in your headphones, and laying on the floor is just a different.
You lose something.
And look at the artwork; it's a different vibe. Different vibe is all it is. You know,
it really is. Agreed.
Well, like one interesting thing about Mortal Kombat the movie.
How about this movie?
Yeah,
we're supposed to be reviewing.
I know. You look at the credits and it says directed by Paul Anderson. And I just want to be clear, it's not Paul Thomas Anderson.
I was all excited. I saw it, I was like, wait, PTA did this?
Yep.
Who has a movie out right now that's getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, it is. I want to go see it.
Looks really good. No, this would be the other Paul Anderson, Paul W.S. Anderson. This is before he was W.S. too. It just said Paul Anderson.
Oh, that's wild.
But you might...
PTA knocked him out.
If that name sounds familiar, he is notorious for doing bad video game adaptations.
Yes, he's the king of them. Yeah.
You look at his filmography, it's almost exclusively bad video game adaptations.
Then he did Event Horizon, which is actually like not.
That's what I was telling you.
Yep.
That's like the one standout movie where it's like, wow, he might have been a good director if he'd stopped doing these video game movies.
Right.
Because he's done a lot of the Resident Evil movies. He just did Monster Hunter a couple years ago, which I've never played those games, but that movie was terrible. I think he was with...
Oh, he did that Three Musketeers movie that just disappeared into oblivion. I saw it on an airplane. It's bad.
Yeah.
And I like the Three Musketeers. I like a good swashbuckle.
Goodness.
He did the Death Race remake, Alien vs. Predator. He was with Mila Jovovich. I don't know if they're still together, but that's why she's like the star of I mean, she was in Monster Hunter, the
first Resident Evil, which is I remember it being okay. Like
I was gonna say that was another case. You could say maybe Resident Evil was one of the better.
It's supposed to be
video game.
Oh, you know what? You know what is a good Silent Hill. Is a good video game adaptation, I think.
I haven't seen it since it came out, so I can't.
You should watch it again. That's actually a good video game adaptation. Yeah.
Okay.
But even with the first Resident Evil, I remember we reviewed it for my movie bus podcast we did, and it's just like, as a huge fan of the games, again, I'm like, this is like, it's a fine zombie action horror movie. That's not what Resident Evil is, though. Yeah. Until you get to like the Resident Evil 4, like some of those later movies, like they're so atmospheric and claustrophobic. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I'm like waiting for someone, like, I guess Zach Krager, who directed Weapons and Barbarian. His next project is officially Resident Evil, and I'm like, if he can't get Resident Evil right, there's no hope for this franchise. Like, because
that also bums me out though, because I wish I would like him to not get sucked into that.
Yeah, he's done such great original stuff.
Like,
yeah. And I mean, yeah, like we're saying, Paul Anderson, his one good movie in that whole list is the original one, Event Horizon.
Right. Which I'm like, I would love to see him do original stuff again, evidently, because, that's...
And you don't really recognize anyone from this cast, at least I didn't. We talked about Christopher Lambert, who did Highlander.
Christopher Lambert, I mean, that's an obvious one.
And a lot of people in the comments were going like, that's why they cast him, was probably because Highlander, there's a lot of like, sci-fi, like fantasy power stuff in that like maybe that they were like, oh, he could be a good Raiden. And it's like, okay, yeah, maybe that's why what the producers were thinking.
I mean, Hiroyuki Tagawa, he's in License to Kill, the Bond movie, the Planet of the Apes, which is not very good.
Who plays
the one that's
Shang Tsung?
Burton. Yeah, Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
He is in the Tekken movie, which I've never seen, but he's in stuff.
He was like, we were saying, he has the great look of a villain.
He does.
His
presence is great. I love him.
His presence,
it was amazing.
His face.
It was that was one of the few things I enjoyed about this movie. Just how over the top he was and his facial expressions.
I love in the beginning.
Oh, he's in Vampires, the John Carpenter movie.
Oh, okay.
It's not one of John Carpenter's best, but I'm just saying he is in it.
He's in it.
We're really stretching here.
Yep.
But I love the opening when he kills Liu Kang's brother and he looks directly into the camera. He's like, your soul will be mine.
I'm like, I want that still of his face as my profile picture. It's just too good. It's too good.
It's what I think, other than the music, which we'll get into in a bit here, and like the logo or whatever, like his face is probably like what I remember most about this movie. Like his face delivering they gave him all of the lines from the games. Fatality, flawless victory.
Yep.
Your soul will be mine, all those things, like, and so he was making a meal out of it, even if they did it, like, they kind of overdid it. Like, he really didn't have any other lines besides those very cliche things.
That was just like the easiest role anybody had in that film. Just show up, look evil, say the same 3 lines for the majority of the film, and then go home. Like, that's it. You're good.
But he's doing the stage presence really well.
Yes, the stage presence is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I found out, it said on the trivia here, he was the first and only choice for Shang Tsung.
Ooh.
He came to the audition in costume, read his lines while standing on a chair, which tracks.
Wow.
Yes.
That's incredible.
He was depicted as relatively younger in the film to avoid the excessive makeup that would have been required to duplicate his game appearance.
I gotcha. That's fair.
But I mean, his look is still very distinct and like... Yeah, probably what fans remember about this. I mean, none of the good guy characters are really that memorable, to be honest. Like,
no, I mean, the Johnny Cage and Sonya, just I don't even
generic white guy, generic white girl,
so generic, unbelievably. Kitana doesn't really get a lot to do in this.
She was one of the worst for me.
Oh, like, we made so much fun of her. Oh my god, we were
saying that like most of her scenes were just her doing like the Zoolander blue steel,
the blue steel look, and then the acting range was honestly on par with Gal Gadot. Just just
very
monotone. Just
she was tough. I was kind of glad she didn't have a bigger part.
Yeah,
it was, oof. I'm like, if these dudes are generic, what is she? She's lower than generic,
right?
Like,
I like how broad Trevor Goddard's going with Kano.
I liked him as Kano.
Yeah,
I thought he did pretty good.
He's one of the better characters for a movie, and they did use him in the remake, and I liked him, the guy who played him in the remake too, because he has that. That's his character.
Yeah, and I guess the character wasn't Australian, but after this movie, they were like, well, he has to be Australian.
He's become that.
That's how good this performance is.
That's how good it was.
Compared to like
the scene
else.
of him eating that juicy turkey leg.
It's so gross.
We were like, you don't see legs like that except for the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah, I'm like no, like you're gonna see me at the State Fair or Renaissance Fair with a big ass turkey leg. That's when you see that.
Was it there was one of our episodes I talk about the time I was working in a park and I ran across the Bulgarian family who gave me like a Lego lamb.
That was our Nosferatu episode.
That's right. Yeah. And I was talking about bread because we were talking about we always got to talk about bread.
Mm-hmm.
And this
huge
is literally
this is the only huge bread guy.
I'm a bread guy.
I love it.
I'm starting to think it's a Lebanese guy thing because like Tony Shalhoub has a show on CNN and they were like, Tony, what do you want to do a show on? And he was like, I don't know, bread. And it's literally just Tony Shalhoub goes places and eats bread with people.
Really? Wow.
That's awesome.
I want to watch. I don't know how you're supposed to watch CNN with a streaming app, but like, I want to find out so I can watch Tony Shalhoub eat bread with people.
Like what's his name from Conclave has like 4 cooking shows where he's just going around eating stuff. Like
man, his social media is just. I'm just like, can you cook for me, Stanley Tucci?
Stanley Tucci. I'm like, dude, that's such a good gig. Like, you just get paid to travel and eat.
That's what I'm saying. That's the dream right there.
That is. That really is.
Do you hear this voice cooking channel? Let's talk.
The only other person I recognized was Sonya Blade. She plays Veronica Vaughn in Billy Madison. Very early childhood crush of mine. I mean, come on.
The teacher?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've not seen that film in a long time.
Who plays hot teacher in Billy Madison, basically.
Right.
But yeah, Bridget Wilson Sampras, and like she was okay. I mean, for what she had to do, like I guess that was another trivia thing, was like she fought to do all of her own stunts. She didn't want a stunt double.
Oh, that's cool.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like her fight with Kano is like one of the, I would say, the more memorable fights too, where she leg locks him to death basically in some black Daisy
that was
Dukes.
such a 90s thing. Like you think about what was it, the GoldenEye. You've got Xenia Onatop who kills guys by crushing them with her legs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
90s. The 90s were into leg crushing.
It was like, if we're going to have a killer lady, we need it to be sexual somehow.
Yes. That's what it is. That's what it is.
We need the guys to be a little turned on. Like, and I'm like, you know what? It kind of worked.
Yeah.
It kind of worked. I'm sorry in both cases.
I'm guilty for, appreciating it.
Yeah.
I call next.
And then Liu Kang, the most memorable thing about him is his hair. I mean,
that hair. My goodness. That was like
mullet.
a lion's mane type thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And just like how ripped he was. And I was kind of wondering about that too. Like, is he a martial arts guy, stunt guy? Because
that's what my thought was.
His acting was not good, but like when he did the fights, he was probably, I don't know if you guys agree, like the best fighter out of the main cast.
Oh yeah.
You could tell.
No
and
joke.
they used him the most.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I want to say I recognized the voice of Goro.
Oh yeah. Tell that story. That was cool.
So I was like, what? Is that Gantu from Lilo and Stitch? What? So I looked it up
immediately.
Yeah,
wow.
Kevin.
I was
That's
like,
impressive.
Yeah, Kevin Michael Richardson. Like I didn't recognize it at first, but yeah. So like Gantu from Lilo and Stitch.
Yep.
He played Virgil's father on Static Shock. He's done a whole bunch. He essentially voiced my childhood. Like he was in the Batman. Oh my God! Just it's the list is long and luxurious. Samurai Jack.
Yeah, I recognized it, but I didn't know where until you said that, and then it kind of clicked for me.
Yeah, I had to look it up immediately, and I'm like, holy crap! So him I recognized, and I thought that was really great. He did really good.
Yeah, that was also one of the best lines when Kano's like, "Give me a break." Sonya's like, "Okay."
Just snap his neck.
I'm like, the movie could have used more of that. Honestly.
Yeah,
like,
a bit more of that humor. I think I would have enjoyed it more.
Talking,
right.
Other than like fatality over and over. It got old after a while. It's like we get it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed.
I'm looking through Kevin's IMDb right now. Just like,
very extensive, right?
Very extensive. Actually, wait a minute.
I also posed the question to you. I can drop now, like Aaron, that like her name is Sonya Blade, which I always thought was an awesome name. Why does she not use blades?
Yeah, that broke me. That broke me when you asked me that. I'm like, what?
She uses guns famously and stuff, and her legs, but like
where
I
the
just thought
blades
that was just that was an easy layup.
Right.
Sonya Blade, why does she not have a cool blade with her?
Right. Well,
that's a really good point.
She could have done something cool. She could have had like hidden blades into like her shoes or something.
I'm a little bit biased because
I
really never play though as the characters with guns. I never think they're that fun.
No, that
is true. No, I feel that.
That's fair. Yeah.
And so I always thought a blade would have just made her character better, I think. Right.
So let's actually talk about the plot of this movie.
Quote unquote plot.
Quote unquote plot of this movie.
Right.
So Liu Kang, his brother is murdered. And he seeks revenge. That's like the main driving force is like supposedly is Liu Kang's revenge of his brother.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not really that clear throughout the movie. I don't feel the force of that through most of the movie, unfortunately.
No. And it almost, again, it seems like they were kind of scared to make, again, maybe this unknown guy to like American audiences, the star of this movie.
You need a white guy in the 90s as like the sidekick or whatever.
Yep.
Until Jackie Chan comes along.
Right.
Yep. And so they kind of were just like, we'll just have everybody, like these three people, be the main characters. And it's like, well, if any of them had anything interesting about them or anything like, again, driving the plot, driving the movie, there's no engine there, you know what I mean? So it just stays dead. It stays in the same spot, and like you said, there's no growth. They stay the same at the end too, from where they started, pretty much.
Yep.
So there's no lesson learned. It's just an excuse to show the fights. It's literally, that's what it is. It's just like people want to see the Mortal Kombat fights. How do we get them there? We just recruit them. And that was, I don't know. Honestly, that's probably my favorite part of the movie is the recruiting, the beginning part, because it does seem like it's taking that, Dirty Dozen. We got to find these characters.
Yeah, I always love that. I do enjoy that in the movie.
It's always going to work. You know what I mean? Yeah. For me, where it's like, and again, I wish it was more fun. I wish they like had spent more time kind of establishing them.
Like, I would like to know more about like what Sonya does. I don't understand what her position is exactly. I know I'm told it is, but
that was the problem with Bloodsport too. Is like the female lead in that is like a journalist who, of course, falls in love with Jean-Claude Van Damme, because how can he resist?
How
could
but it's like she's very similar to Sonya Blade in that she knows about the Bloodsport tournament, and she's like kind of like trying to seduce, like, I know there's a Bloodsport tournament, you're just not telling me. And like everyone in this community knows about this tournament that's supposed to be like top secret, and only a few people are supposed to know. And so it's the same thing where Sonya's like scoping out the scene, like, oh, this is where Mortal Kombat's you know what I mean? Like they're kind of trying to do that, I guess. But
I do enjoy that the Johnny Cage bit is he's being directed by a sit-in for Steven Spielberg.
I pointed that out.
Did you know that Spielberg was a fan of Mortal Kombat, the game, and wanted to be in this movie, and he was slated to be in this movie as himself.
That would have been amazing.
Which we don't get until Austin Powers 3.
Yeah.
But man, that would have been. But I wondered, because I was like, that guy just looks like Steven Spielberg, like Schlubby or Steven Spielberg.
That's the same thing. He's got the hat, he's got the glasses. It's like a complete stand-in.
And then Johnny Cage's agent comes up and is like, hey, I got a gig for you.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that's like why Johnny Cage might have been the better protagonist, because like I love that, like you see him like in the opening fight and you're kind of like, what is this? And I remember, like halfway through I was like, oh, I think this is like him shooting a movie. Like I want to see, and so I like that kind of fake out where then it's like, oh, this guy didn't fall down. Where do you get these people? He's like all for.
I know. I was like, what is this? What is happening?
They say I'm terrible or something like that.
I like that whole setup, that bit. Yeah.
The Liu Kang one, again, the revenge plot, very thin, but like he wakes up from that nightmare of seeing his brother murdered. I just wanted to point that out because like I love the lighting in that scene. It's like this green ambient lighting.
Oh yeah.
And I was kind of, and that was like kind of the main thing that was, I would say, a standout in this movie is just like, even the bad, we talk about this a lot, Bill, even the bad like 90s and 2000s movies just look so much better. They're just lit so much better.
They're lit better.
They look so much, so like, while he was like awakening from that nightmare, I was just like, man, this scene just looks so good. Like
the temple looked really good too. I thought that was a great shot of the temple with all the monks. There's some great.
They're filming on location. We pointed that out.
Yep.
We researched that, where we were like, they're getting so much use out of like production value out of actually shooting in Thailand.
That's something I've learned from like watching a lot of low budget French and Italian films is just how much those guys really took advantage of like being in a place that just has castles laying around. Because if you shoot at a castle, you could be shooting like the lowest budget film and it's still
the dumbest plot, and you still can be like, wow, this looks cool.
This looks awesome.
Yeah.
The vibes are immaculate.
And Bloodsport did the same thing where they shot in Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't Hong Kong.
Yep. Again, even if that's a cheesy movie, you're still on location and shooting there. So
yeah, so I mean that is something about this film that is cool though, is like there is so much about it that it just works because like the sets still have to be real, right? Maybe you have a matte painting in the background, but it's like you're not doing a full digital matte replacement,
right?
Or like adding
the production design.
Yeah, the sets. Like I want to talk about the sets.
The highlight.
Yeah,
of the
like
film for me.
Oh yeah,
especially like the sets that they like the practical sets that they built
are
absolutely amazing. They are definitely great. Not only so, but specifically, I noted with the fight between Liu Kang and Sub-Zero, how they had that set up where they're fighting each other, but it's also like if you were actually playing the game, it would look like you would have the pillars in the background.
It's a wide shot.
Yeah, wide shot, stairs in the middle leading up to wherever, but like it looked like the general like level that you would fight in for Mortal Kombat. And then of course they got more like free with it, but like I liked in some moments like that, it's like, okay, you're actually trying to model an actual like fight from the game.
That was really cool.
I thought that was really great.
I like that a lot.
That I like.
What I don't like is the fights where you're like, is this part of the tournament or is it not?
Yeah, we constantly
confusing.
were
because it's like, okay, is this like planned that they're going to go have this fight, or is this just a random fight they're having?
Yeah, the fight before, like a bit before Liu Kang versus Sub-Zero, it was Liu Kang versus Katana. Yeah, it was supposed to be Katana, and like, is this
on the beach?
Yeah, on the beach? You're like, is this supposed to be like part of the tournament or something? Because whoever loses, like Shang Tsung's coming for your soul. Like he's getting
right. You guys,
he's made that very clear.
Yeah, he's made that extremely clear. And like, how is she still anything of anything? Like she essentially lost that. They're like, she should be gone, dunzo. Like, why is she still here? Like
I guess the rules we get from Raiden on the boat ride to the thing is that Mortal Kombat is a martial arts tournament held once every generation, and you have people from Earth and then from Outer World, other dimension.
Yeah.
If Outer World gets 10 wins, they will conquer Earth Realm, or like Earth, basically, like where we live. And they've already won 9 times. They just skipped over that like really fast. Like, wait, what? There was 9 other movies of worth of
right.
But okay, they're about to, you would think they would have a little more urgency of around like win number 7 or 8, but they're like, they waited. They're procrastinators. They're like, all right, yeah, they're out one more and they're gonna control the universe. And then that's where we get all of the main characters: Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Liu Kang, and Raiden. Who are tasked with defending, Earth Realm from that happening. That's like the basic plot of it. But again, it's really hard to establish that like the universe is in peril in a very small budget, looking and feeling movie like this. So
yeah,
that's the big problem.
I will say, I did really like the. I mean, I think the best fight in this is Liu Kang versus Reptile. I don't know if you agree with me on that point.
I liked that. I liked that.
I just noted. I don't know. I'd have to think about it, but I did note that like that was better than the final fight because it comes immediately before it.
It feels very different than the other scenes. It feels very like, oh, this is actually a real martial arts scene. But also I did like the set in the Johnny Cage versus Scorpion fight, which feels very Hong Kong cinema. I just think of like these Hong Kong action films from the 90s where you'd have guys like fighting on like big bamboo sticks, or the sets would be like you'd be in a warehouse with like 10
seconds of gymnastics straight,
Yeah. I thought that was so cool. Not that I necessarily like the fighting per se from Johnny Cage, but but I mean, I'm looking at it right now just to make sure. It's this thing. Like look at this stuff. I mean, it's just atmospheric. Like scaffolding to nowhere for whatever reason. It's pretty.
And it feels like it could be just pulled straight from the game. You know what I mean? Like all those sets feel like that's the type of environment you're fighting in
I don't understand the space, and I'm okay with it because it feels like a level in a fighting game. I think that's what each of these really needed to be, like a unique thing. Like
he's using the set to do like gymnastics.
This stuff is great. Like this is very Hong Kong cinema. I love it. And it had every fight scene been like this and had like these very unique sets, these very like specific vibes, I think it would have been a better movie.
Oh, for sure.
Which is why this is like considered to be one of the better fight scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah, the stakes for the characters, again, this is like, it's so murky, but it's like,
yeah.
Liu Kang, he wants revenge for obviously his brother. Sonya is trying to get revenge on Kano, who murdered her partner. So that's why she's going. And then Johnny wants to debunk the media claims that his martial arts skills are fake.
That is the lamest character motivation ever. Yeah. And like, here's the thing. I'm kind of excited for the new one because I think Carl Urban is somebody who could sell me on that.
Mm-hmm.
I love Carl Urban in a lot of stuff, but like I love
Dread.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was in Lord of the Rings, but I think of Thor 3 specifically. I feel like he's really good at selling. Just like, I buy your bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way he sells.
He's really great in The Boys, the TV show.
Oh, love him in The Boys. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I guess the only concern, I brought this up yesterday too, is like Johnny Cage is such an American character. Like, and so
he can play American,
but like, okay, but he needs to be the fast talking. Like we were talking about, like who's like a perfect like sit in for it. Like you need like a Ryan Reynolds type fast talking. Like Carl Urban's just cool.
Man,
he's
we're
really
always
cool.
trying to cast Ryan Reynolds and stuff.
We also were like, we were like Ryan Reynolds type, but not Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
please not Ryan Reynolds.
Oversaturated with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, we also agree with that. But like, okay, but I was saying for the animated films, who they cast for Johnny Cage was Joel McHale.
Yes.
Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And I was like, that's kind of the person you need to play that character. And I'm like, the trailer looks good for the second one. I'm like, I'm gonna give it a chance, but like that was my only concern going into it. Is like, I don't mind them doing Johnny Cage, fine, but let's see if we can pull it off.
Yeah,
you never know. I mean, it is what I mean. The bar is in hell for these movies.
It really is.
We literally said that yesterday too. The bar is so low.
It's so low that like,
and it makes it so much worse though when they don't succeed. The bar. It's like, guys, come on, just make a decent one.
But then I think about things like Mission Impossible, where this is very. I shouldn't be comparing this to the Mission Impossible franchise, but like after
better franchise.
After the third film, though, we were kind of like, I don't know, man, a fourth Mission Impossible, and then they start cranking out the best films in the series. So same with Fast and the Furious. So you never know; it could happen.
Exactly.
But yeah, no. I mean, my biggest problem with this is like, I don't understand these fights, how they ladder up. Like the Karate Kid is a great example of a movie where like you understand the tension and the build of like the tournament, right? We don't get that here. I don't understand what the structure is.
It's so simple, and like that's what I love about that too. Is like you're watching the placards, the title cards.
I know.
As they're building, and you're like, great visual storytelling. That's all I need. This guy is moving on, and they even do like montages. You don't need to see every single fight. You get that like he's gonna eventually fight Johnny because Johnny's on the other side and he's moving up, and then you have Daniel on this side and he's moving up, and it's like great. That's it. That's
another movie we've mentioned this episode so far that totally does this really, really well is Billy Madison. The end of Billy Madison.
I didn't think about that, but you're right.
I know it's a terrible comparison, but like they nailed that aspect of it.
Yeah,
in that
he's
movie.
moving up on the grades, and again, you don't see every single grade he goes through.
Yeah,
they kind of skip around with that. Yeah,
and then we get the fights, but at least we understand the structure of the fights and what the rules are. I feel like the rules are constantly in flux in this movie. Well, yeah, I don't understand them.
Right. And then that's, I think when Shang Tsung, like he starts getting introduced, that's when it starts to get super murky because it's like he has all his gang. So you got Reptile, Katana, so who is like an adopted daughter of the Emperor, and then he's like telling them he doesn't want them to advance to the final rounds. He's trying to take them out like before they get to that point or whatever. So he's playing dirty, but like. Again, if they had established the tournament and made that more of a thing, maybe we could have gotten that more again visually. Because the way it's played out, it's what's the difference between this fight with like Lizard and Scorpion, or Scorpion and Sub-Zero, trying to take them out. We don't really even know until after that. And then there's one scene where Raiden's like, like fighting before the tournament is frowned upon, like that type of stuff. And you're like, wait, it is? We didn't know that. Like,
like
they're already mad at each other.
Like, how are we supposed to know that?
Yeah. Like, looking at the narratives and like the characters, like Shang Tsung is a dirty cheapskate. He really is. Mm-hmm. But if they had established the importance of the tournament more than Shang Tsung doing his dirty stuff, it would have made more sense.
It's like Dogma.
Yes.
We talked about Dogma, how like, I know you're telling me the stakes are high.
Right.
I don't understand why they're high.
You don't understand why. And like, you don't understand why they're high. And even so, like I said earlier,
or just made it more of a show of
it. Made it more of a show of it. Yeah.
More of a like, you know, like wedding or some kind of, you know what I mean? Something where it's like, okay, now this is the tournament. It's like you never really felt that.
Right. You never really felt that. And honestly, if the stakes were lower, like I said earlier, this better narratives are where the stakes have never been lower. Yeah. So if they just like shorten the scale a bit and go, the tournament is what matters the most. This is the most important thing. This tournament is sacred because like it says this tournament has been orchestrated by the elder gods. Like this tournament isn't just people getting together and doing whatever. Like this is like something that orchestrates how the universe of Mortal Kombat works. If you fuck with that, then there's going to be issues. And then Shang Tsung doing whatever he could to just mess things up and cheat. And like that would have been more, it would have been more impactful.
Space Jam makes more sense in this movie.
Yes! Yes, exactly. Exactly.
The bars in hell.
Yeah, the bars, yeah.
The bars in space. Like
oh god, yeah. So
I also want to mention too, like this is funny because I completely forgot about this guy until writing this out. But Art Lean is another guy. He's the black dude.
Which one?
Who we were trying to determine.
The one black dude.
The 1 and 2.
The one we were going, is that supposed to be Jax?
Yeah,
like he's probably the most famous black character in Mortal Kombat. Right. You know, and he's got the robot arms.
Right.
But so we were going, okay, is he gonna get his arms ripped out, or like are we gonna see that? Nope. He's just a random dude that it says he's one of Johnny's peers here. I didn't get that from the movie.
No, like he got introduced. He just got shoehorned in. He just appeared out of nowhere.
Showed up at the like was he even on the boat?
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
no, he wasn't on the boat either. No, he wasn't. He was just there.
Shows up like during when they like again another great set was like the feast table with all the food and like the candle wax dripping
like
off
Hogwarts
of it.
Style.
Yeah, it was great.
That was cool.
But yeah, and then he just shows up, and I was joking to you, like, is his only role in here to be like the token black guy, like in Not Another Teen Movie, where he's like, I'm just here to say shit, goddamn, what's up?
Yeah,
like stuff like that. And then as soon as I said that, he said some corny like line, man, oh hell no, and I was like,
hell no,
god, he really is. That's the only reason he's here is to like diversify the cast and then get killed off. In the scene after by Goro.
Man,
and gets his soul taken by Shang Tsung.
Yep.
Another like bad effect. All those like soul taken.
Scenes. Those were those were abhorrent. Oh,
you know, do we talk about the special effects at this point? Because
I feel like we need.
Yeah, let's do that. Absolutely.
Because it really ruined all those beautiful practical sets.
There's so much like good reptile work in this movie,
or whatever lizard would come out and do his like little chameleon effects.
Like, I was. Does he do that in the video games? He turned like a CGI lizard.
No, he was not like that.
So like, it's not motivated. They were just kind of like, what if we did this?
Right.
Same thing with the scorpion hand lizard thing. It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Well, even if you did, there's things like I was watching the scorpion hand effects and. The tracking, in effects, the way that this would work is you would animate, you take the plate of like the video, you drop it into your like background reference in a CGI program. You're designing this piece that's going to come out of his hand. You're going to design the animation, and you use what's called a tracker. And and I don't know what trackers were like in the 90s. They did have them though, and basically like you create a virtual camera so that your CGI lines up with the camera movement and the character movement in the actual movie. And then you do what's called compositing, where you bring just the effects, just the chain and all that stuff and the sting coming out.
Yeah.
And then you put it over the video, and then you have to like work with levels and stuff to kind of get the colors to all be right and blend. But they didn't even get the tracking right. It was slipping. I was like, guys, like,
no, and then when it was like hitting the tree and it was like scratching the tree, it just looked so bad.
It was bad.
You know
like
at least that I could chalk up to just being like early CGI, but the tracking shot, I was like, that's like did somebody get fired for that? Because like it's bad. It's like it's slipping and everything, and like you can manually tweak that stuff.
Well, and why not? And like this is what we were talking about. Like, why not just have an actual like chain and kind of like
it
doesn't have to come out of his hand necessarily.
Because like in the games, it was a chain with a kunai knife at the end of it, and like the animation, it was like bowling alley animations.
That's what you said. I was cracking up at that.
So much better than this.
It's bowling alley animation.
No, don't insult bowling alley animations.
I can make better animations than this on my computer right now.
Yeah,
which is technology has changed a lot.
Yes, it has. It absolutely has.
But it just seemed like such a simple fix. You have an actual like practical chain, and like that comes out and you shoot and shoots out or whatever. You didn't have to do the lizards.
I mean, this is 3 years after Jurassic Park. It shouldn't look this bad.
Yes.
Like 4, like
yes.
But you know what it is though too is those movies knew when to combine different elements and different effects. Now a place in this film they really do that well is Goro.
Yes, absolutely.
It's pretty seamless. I mean, there are times when it looks a little wonky, but that's like natural for that time period. It never feels off-putting. It's like, but it's such a good mix of practical effects, animatronics, puppetry.
I'm so glad they did that for him.
Human performance, and then a little bit of stop motion in there. And I think they might have used some CGI in a few parts just to like tweak the eye. They might have done some face replacement in there, but I'm not completely sure, so I don't want to speak
I think
to that
the mouth was just the worst part because it's like obviously they're trying to puppet his lines with what he's saying, and it didn't work that well in the close-up shots. But like everything like you were saying, I thought like when he's like interacting with Kano and stuff like that, I was like, this looks good.
Yeah.
Like this looks like pretty good for 95. And again, it's on a practical set and everything just like feels like I miss the texture. You can like those movies that you can feel like you can reach out and touch what's going on. You know what I mean? Like it has a lot of that in some of those sets.
Yeah, I saw that character. Actually, I think I was Googling this movie or something, and I saw the character, and I thought for a second that it was from the new movie because it looked so good. But I thought it was
movie, it's CG.
I thought it was new CGI because it looked really good, and then I was like, oh no, this is actually like physical, practical effects from back in the day. And like the making of is really cool. If you look up on YouTube, you can find videos of the guy in the suit kind of testing it out, and like the animatronic without the skin on it, and it's pretty amazing. It's pretty cool stuff, and but it's just weird they did that. They went through all that effort, and then they just were like, let's create scenarios that don't need to happen in this movie to use more CGI where it makes 0 sense. Sub-0 sense, as it were.
Oh my god!
Hey.
I forgot what I was going to say about Goro, but I mean, again, that's like another pretty famous character from the game that like you needed to get right. So I'm glad. This is what I was going to say is that because we were talking about Scorpion, like I was so happy when he does the skull transformation.
Yes,
that was practical.
Yes,
again, that was another thing they could have gone CG and like it looks like Halloween costume.
It was goofy as shit, but I love that.
Absolutely.
Like, in the video game, that's how it looks. It looks pretty corny like that, and then like the fire is real that he's like shooting out. Like
no, they actually followed the video game with that, which was nice.
When Johnny cuts his skull open and like the magma like orange liquid comes out.
That was great.
That was pretty cool.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah, you might be right. That might be the best fight. That might be the most enjoyable.
Just overall, like the acrobatics and then like that end kill is pretty great. I felt like Sub-Zero got a little wasted. I felt like
it was extremely wasted. Like, absolutely,
got killed off too quickly and like too easily.
Killed off too quickly.
And again, I was kind of like at this point where I was like, is this a real tournament fight or are they like, is this extracurricular that they're just fucking with each other and then he ends up dead? I was confused by that because they're slaves. So are the slaves in the tournament? I have questions.
No, I don't blame you.
I also hate like when I was telling you this, like when a person with like abilities like with like for Sub-Zero like ice and like water like whatever that's freezing, that's his ability, and they get taken out by like ice.
Their own power.
Yeah, their own power.
That always pisses me off.
Right.
It's like when you saw that giant shard of ice coming at you, couldn't like do an ice ball.
You couldn't do an ice ball or like since you have control over ice, you could just look at it. It stops the icicle, flip it around, and then throw it back at him. And I was thinking that Liu Kang is a character in the games that uses fire, and fire can be an element that brings life. And I'm like, this is where he's gonna start using fire powers. And then nope, just a bucket of water. In a dream.
At least with the Scorpion thing, it was like, he just cut the skull open, and it's like, okay, I guess that was his weakness. But
that's fair. That's fair. Rusty shields, I get it.
At least it wasn't like he uses a flamethrower and takes Scorpion out.
That would be hilarious.
That would be good though.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And even with like just like the tournament organization, going back to Shaolin monks, how that tournament worked. When you beat enemies, in order to get to, ultimately you had to get to Shao Kahn because he's of course causing all the trouble and whatnot. So when you beat people like Shang Tsung, Goro, Scorpion, whatever, it counts as a victory in the tournament. And on top of that, you get like this medal. How that tournament worked was that when ultimately at the end, you were trying to get to Shao Kahn, but there was this door and you had to get these medals that would fit in the door. And how you got those medals was beating basically, all his minions. So like you had to beat like Sub-Zero, you had to beat Scorpion, and it also counted as a victory for that tournament. So there was purpose in going against these enemies because
it elevated
the stakes, because even as a game, of course in a game, you get more abilities when you beat these people on top of that. And it's like you couldn't show that in this movie. Like, I'm not saying that any of the characters had to get like some crazy like superpowers or something, but like just show like, hey, this tournament's going on, and as these people are progressing, you can see them getting stronger. And I was
wondering about that because they pick 3 characters that don't have like powers.
Not necessarily, no. Like not a lot of them. No,
kind of has like some energy.
Yeah, he has some weird energy green skull thing in Shaolin Monks. I don't know what's up with that.
And Liu Kang kind of like gets it. Like the only time you ever see it though is at the end.
Yeah,
when, he punches Shang Tsung and you see the little energy blast.
Right.
Or whatever. That's the only time you see it. But
yeah.
Again, that would have been. That's a good point. Maybe if they like would have gained it during fights or something like that, that would have helped.
Something. But it doesn't feel like a competition half the time.
Right.
Which is, I think, part of the problem.
Right. It doesn't feel like a competition half the time. And also, me bringing up Shaolin Monks, like Shaolin Monks is like it was still done by Midway, but like how that, like all the powers and stuff that people have, that came out way after this Mortal Kombat movie. So it might be a little bit
10 years.
Yeah, like 10 years or something. So it might be a little bit unfair to compare the two just a bit. But
I think it provides a framework though for how they could have made it work. I mean, like Balls of Fury has a better structure for a tournament than this does.
And it absolutely does.
And it's Mortal Kombat, which is literally a tournament. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And even like the stories, as incomprehensible as they are, like I guess the most Mortal Kombat game that I've played the most is Mortal Kombat X, and that was another huge like revamp of the series. Like this is the
really was
one, and I thought they did a great job. Like in it, but again, I don't really remember anything from the story. I beat it, but like it was just like the way that they did the animation and the fighting and stuff like that. And then same thing with like 11. I played a little bit, not as much, but again, story incomprehensible.
Yeah,
not worth remembering, but. Yep. Again, it's not really why you play those games in the first place.
True.
Well, that is true.
That is true.
Yeah, Johnny takes out Goro. That fight's kind of lame because it's like him more or less like running away.
But
like
that could have been funny though. That's the thing I don't get. Like that fight kills me because I'm just like, there's so much potential for humor here. It's a big guy. He
does his signature
kind of a chicken in real life.
Split and punching in the nuts from the game.
But it feels so unearned. Like it should have been funny, and it wasn't. I was just like,
the classic like zoom in on the guy's face, doing cross eyes, Goro's cross eyes. Like,
that was funny. That was funny. That part was funny.
Which then made me wonder though, what's Goro's genitalia looking like? I mean, come on, can we talk about it?
Like a cluster of.
He's got 4 arms. I'm just saying.
Maybe 4 arms, 4 nuts,
2 penises. If you have 4 arms,
I said, is it 2 penises, 4 balls? What's going on? Like,
but
it hurts him.
Maybe it's like a duck penis, like one of those corkscrew.
Oh
penises
God, yeah.
Hurt going in.
Maybe they're like also like the size of like oranges or something like that.
Maybe
he's a pretty big dude. He's a pretty big dude, so he's got to have like some big swinging nuts or something like that.
Or maybe he does it. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I always loved the Star Trek 6 gag where Kirk gets in a fight and then he like kicks the guy in the knee or something, and it was like the character goes, his gonads are in his genitalia are in his knee or something like that. I did something like that. I gotta watch that movie again. But Star Trek 6 when he's on like the prison planet.
That's hilarious.
Kirk ends up getting in a fight.
Usually when it's like these type of movies, I've noticed like they go for that, and then it's like,
No, I was thinking
have one. Like,
I was thinking
that's not where my balls are.
Right, I was thinking like Men in Black. I think it was 2 or no, I think it was 1 where Will Smith was fighting that one guy, and he kicked him in the between the legs, but it's like, no, his ball's on his chin. You like get him on the chin or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then he just he kicks him off the cliff or something, and that's
dies, that's how Goro dies. Johnny Cage would like.
I thought that was the stop motion scene you're talking about by the cliff. Because I pointed that out. I was like, this is you could tell this is stop motion. Yeah. So after Goro is defeated, I guess he was like the champion. Shane's again not really established well, I would say. Reading all this back, it's like really.
So he was like the returning guy.
Yeah,
like he had like the big
under
shiny
Shang
belt.
Tsung's command.
Yep.
Once he got defeated, Shang Tsung kind of panics, and he's like, "All right, kidnap Sonya.
I guess fight me."
And the kidnapping Sonya thing was like so 90s. I don't know how you felt.
Let me open a portal.
Where she, but like even like I'm talking about when they finally like see her again, and she's like Princess Leia-fied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the like big hair, the Tina Turner hair, and like looking like a cave woman.
Yeah, that hair, that's
horrible.
That was
that's bad.
She's in this like so tiny brown leather outfit, and you're like, okay, they're. I said the Princess Leia thing, and then how they get in is they infiltrate under the hoods. I'm like, oh, they're straight up doing Return of the Jedi then.
Yep. Yes, they were.
That's how Luke infiltrates.
That killed me. That killed me, man. It was so true.
Again, not as fun or as well done as it is in that movie.
Of course. Oh my goodness.
And then, we got Kang is attacked by Reptile. And then that's that fight.
That fight rules. I liked it a lot.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Reptile, at least in that fight, like they don't do all that CGI like the entire fight. Like I love when he gets into that other form and it's like an actual dude.
They're the actual dude.
Thank you. Like,
because
that's how it is in the game too. It's just a dude in a green thing like Scorpion or Sub-Zero.
Yeah, they were reusing assets essentially, just recolor.
Right. There's a few different iterations. So like originally in the original like number one for sure. Just a dude in the green suit.
Yep.
In Shaolin Monks, he was a lizard humanoid sort of thing.
Okay.
So he
branching out more.
Yeah, branching out more. And then in Mortal Kombat 1, he can transform into a lizard, but more so like his reptile form, I think it was his natural form. And then he can transform into a
are in the game.
Like in the newer
games.
In the newer game.
Oh yeah.
In the original.
Yeah. So like at least they're doing more different stuff with him at least.
It seems like the movie influenced a lot of where they went after with the game.
I agree.
Game development.
That synergy, baby.
Yeah. Agreed. Yep. But I loved that fight, that Reptile Kang fight.
No, I was like, oh, amazing. Thank God there's a real fight in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this is after the Scorpion fight, but like I was just like, okay, good. There is another good fight in this movie.
Right. Something to hold us over until the rest of the slop or something,
Especially because the final fight is really not that memorable. I wasn't like the biggest fan of the Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung fight.
Yeah,
it's better than some of the. It's better than some of the other fights, but then also the whole thing where he like turns into his brother.
Yeah, that
was. Remember when I?
Well, like it was just so bad because it's like he was just fighting him, and then he transformed into him. It's like, oh, so clearly you're not my brother.
I know. I'd be like, you're obviously not my brother. Yeah. This is no.
Because at least when they did it at the beginning, when he's recruiting Johnny Cage, that was just like how it was the fake out movie that he was fighting.
Yeah,
that was a cool fake out because you're like, oh, I'm not familiar that he could do that.
Right.
But this happened right in front of his eyes.
Yeah, this happened right in front of his eyes.
Is Liu Kang dumb? I don't know. Like, is he just not?
I'd say yes.
I thought they could have had more fun with that because I love like in the X-Men movies when Mystique is like fucking with Logan.
Yep.
And, those were
turning
great
into
scenes.
like Jean Grey.
And
like seducing him. Like they could have had way more fun.
Yep.
Like Shang Tsung could have done stuff like that.
Yep.
With
and
the main guys.
Bringing it up again in Shaolin Monks, Shang Tsung was pulling that shit throughout the narrative.
Yeah.
He was impersonating Johnny Cage. Hell, he was impersonating Raiden. And actually guiding Liu Kang and Kung Lao throughout like Netherworld, Underworld, and things like that. And to the point where Kung Lao and Liu Kang, they were getting suspicious of him because it's like, wait, how is Raiden able to use his magic in this realm? Because we both know he can't. Even he's told us that. So he's like, how is he able to do that? So it's like little stuff like that throughout the narrative that was like really interesting. Like it really was. But like, I'm just narrative. It wasn't here.
So I have a question about Raiden. Raiden the game can't use his electricity? I thought he could.
So in So in the game,
that was probably game specific.
There was like I think it was game specific because he's in like.
But he can use it in this, or he can't in the movie.
Let me think, because in the movie he was like
he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything anyway.
He's like Gandalf in The Hobbit in this movie.
Yeah,
where he's like, "Oh, I need to put together a team. Okay, peace out. Good luck.
Yep.
Take a diary. I'll be back at the end of the book." You know, like.
But at least Gandalf like has some. When he shows up, he shows up.
Right, right. When he shows up, he shows.
Yeah.
You shall not pass. Come on now.
That's Lord of the Rings. That's not The Hobbit. The Hobbit Gandalf.
Yeah, Hobbit
Gandalf
right.
is sketchy. He's like, okay, I put a band together. Okay, see you guys. Here, take a diary.
I have not seen the Hobbit movies. I gotta admit.
Oh well, no, the movies are different than the book. In the book, he's like just always disappearing. And in the movies, they try to explain where he's going, but in the books, he's just like,
deuces.
Yeah, see you later.
See you later.
I'll show up in the last chapter.
Yep.
You know.
Good luck.
He does. To be fair, Gandalf negotiates the genuinely important plot points of The Hobbit, where someone like him is needed. But it is funny that he just pieces out for most of that book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't know. He's trying to be like when he gives advice or whatever, he's like, you can't let vengeance, whatever, be your driving factor. And it's like, well, Liu Kang kills him at the end. Like,
yeah, Liu Kang does kill him at the end.
It's the happy ending.
Right.
So it's like your lesson didn't go, dude. Like,
I did like the spike floor, though. I feel like the
logo is like, again, one of the more iconic parts where it's like, I love how they kept reusing that. There was a shot on the beach during the katana fight, I want to say, where he's like, underneath this
he's underneath like this flag. No, I think it was the tent that he was in.
It was like this little tent thing
or something like that.
There was the logo was on a flag next to him, and then like it was reflecting on the beach sand.
Yeah, like the light was shining through it, and you see a shadow.
It's a flag,
right?
And I was like, they must have intentionally lit that to do that.
Of course they did.
Yeah, I thought that was another like great shot. Like I can't stress enough that like the fights are so boring that we were just gushing over the sets and the production design, and
because there was nothing else going on.
Nothing else.
The DP had enough time to set up a really cool shot.
Yeah, the lighting, stuff like that.
Oh, another thing that we talked about during like the final scene was there, where he brought out the quote unquote 1,000 soldiers or something like that. What was that?
1,000 souls.
Yeah, 1,000 souls.
To fight him
like it was just like 6 dudes. First of all, and like second of all, like Shang Tsung, like.
Well, that was another missed opportunity, you said, because
like he's supposed to be like a dirty, scheming motherfucker.
We're comparing it to Return of the Jedi, just because of how much they were ripping from it. But we were like, okay, this is what they're doing wrong here. Is that it really was just Liu Kang doing everything in that last fight, and all the other guys were sidelined, and you're like wondering what are they doing. And so when those like 6 guys popped up, I'm like, why couldn't they fight those guys? And Liu Kang just fights Shang Tsung. You know what I mean? Like, give them something to do. Where, like, in Return of the Jedi, like, everyone has, like, kind of a role in the escape.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I think you brought up Indiana Jones, too, with, like, what was it? Short bread?
Short round?
Well, yeah, short round. That's what it was. Yeah, short round. How
they do that really well in those movies,
they do it, too.
Where it's never just short round, like, you know... With maybe the female characters not as much, but like at least for short round, he's helping Indy the whole time. Right. He's not just like screaming and being like help.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, Katana, I think she might have been the worst character just because she could not act for anything. I didn't understand like what she was saying. It was like almost like whispering it half the time and like
just mewing the whole time and Kal-El.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
But apparently like she betrays Shang Tsung because he took over Outer World, adopted her, and she's like, and if he does the same thing to Earth Realm, he's gonna destroy your planet like he did mine. Whatever. And Liu Kang defeats him with that bed of spikes, and you see like his soul or whatever go.
And see like his brother's soul like came out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then there's like another like Star Wars type parade at the end where it's like, we did it.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
And then there's another like really bad demon that comes out. That's just like a human like composited in over the towers. Like, it's not over, bitches.
Yeah, that was supposed to be Shao Kahn. That was it. Yeah.
And they're like all about to fight, and then that's how it ends. And it's like, okay, ends on another whiff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
Yep.
That is the movie.
Very bare bones.
You know what the best part of this movie is? The theme song and title credits.
Honestly, yeah.
The title sequence.
They set the bar so high by doing that. The theme song being so good over the New Line, the classic New Line logo, and it just goes downhill from there.
Honestly, I think the soundtrack to this and the music are like probably the most lasting impact.
That's what I told.
Film.
That's what I said. I made the same point.
Yeah, you made that same point. You were even saying like during some of the fight scenes, like
they would put it in there.
They would put it in there.
Oh yeah,
and like not just like the theme song, but like other songs as well that were just along for like some of those fights.
Well,
and
it's like one of the fights is to Juke Joint Jezebel
Mhm.
by KMFDM, and you're like, yeah, okay.
It got you hyped.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the
it
fight
got you
wasn't
hyped.
as good.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I think some of this might be the influence of Midway being based in Chicago, because Chicago is one of the big hubs for industrial music. That's where Wax Trax, Wax Trax was originally a record store in Colorado, but the label starts in Chicago. And so you've got like KMFDM on this soundtrack who are on the label. You have Sister Machine Gun, who are a Chicago-based industrial band. And I guess it's not on the actual release soundtrack, but Stabbing Westward has 3 songs on the soundtrack as well, and they're Chicago guys. I mean, they were kind of around in the industrial scene when I was DJing at Neo. They're the people who are in town and around. So it's cool to like see I'm guessing the influence of Midway on this movie is, they had people who worked for them who were like, hey, my buddy's band, you should really put his songs in the movie. You should check this out. And it was the right vibe. It was the 90s. So it was, perfect timing for this. But this soundtrack went platinum in less than a year, reaching number 10 on the Billboard 200, a soundtrack album. And again, it's funny because like the instrumental music, it looks like, is by George S. Clinton, who'd go on to do, famously, he's not George Clinton from Parliament Funkadelic.
Exactly.
But he's George S. Clinton who did the soundtracks for Austin Powers. Not the song that's by Quincy Jones at the intro. That's Soul Bossa Nova by Quincy Jones. All right, we got to give Quincy credit. But George S. Clinton does all the incidental music in the Austin Powers series. And again, incredible names on here. The theme itself was by a group called the Immortals. The Immortals were this kind of super group, one-off thing created by Praga Khan and Olivier Adams, best known for their work with Lords of Acid, very raunchy industrial new beat act. New beat is music a lot of people don't know about, but it's a form of Belgian dance music. Basically, in the 80s, there was a DJ in Belgium who had been playing a lot of new wave, industrial, EBM, and high energy. And I guess the mythology around it is that one night he accidentally put a 45 RPM 12-inch record on at 33 RPM. And when he realized he had played this record at like half speed, he sped up the pitch shift to 8 plus 8, which is like the maximum pitch shift on a true analog Technics turntable before we had like any kind of digital pitch shift. So that created this like slightly faster, slow music that's kind of like mid-tempo. And then it became so popular, he started playing records out at that speed that were faster. And then so people started making tracks. Like these guys, Praga Khan and Olivier Adams from Lords of Acid started making tracks with this singer, Jade For You. And eventually their Jade For You work becomes Lords of Acid. And New Beat becomes so massive that eventually the real bands who started doing it have to start putting stickers on their records that they're exporting to the US and other places saying this is official New Beat record. This is not commercial bullshit, basically, because there's such a glut of commercial New Beat at this time. And so, yeah, eventually they have, they do this track as the Immortals, and it sounds so different than Lords of Acid. It's leaning into more like, hardcore techno mixed with 90s Eurodance, which is like very cheesy pop music, popular at the time. These guys also had a side project called Channel X, which released a track that is in the movie Basic Instinct. If you know the club scene in Basic Instinct, the track playing their Rave to the Rhythm is by this same group under a totally different name called Channel X. So yeah, the music history behind this movie is wild. Like it's crazy how much crossover there is with other stuff. And like, again, to see like Chicago Industrial on the map on this incredible soundtrack that did really well, pretty cool.
Yeah, I just had here that I thought this was funny. It said the producers were rejected by Sony and Virgin Records for the soundtrack. They wanted to use EDM, and the record companies wanted popular acts like Van Halen and Janet Jackson.
That would be a very different movie.
Oh, yes, it would.
Wow.
Goodness.
The producers finally went with TVT Records, a small record company at the time, and the soundtrack became the first platinum EDM record ever in history. So there you go. So the locations in Thailand, it says they were so remote, they were only accessible by boat.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the cast, crew, and equipment had to be transported by long canoes. An outhouse was built in a secluded area near the set so they didn't have to make constant trips from the mainland. But again, it pays off so well that they're on this kind of like island area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially when you watch the sequel, which I don't recommend, but like that is like, it's all on sound stages and with CGI digital backgrounds, and it looks so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, at least this one, you have that to go off of.
Right.
Where they have the real sets for the most part. At around 50 minutes, Johnny Cage defeats Scorpion, and we didn't mention this, but I thought we should. He throws an autographed photo of himself at the corpse.
I love that.
This is from the games. This is Cage's friendship finishing move, which is different from the fatalities.
Wow.
Where you wouldn't kill them, you would do like a signature friendly thing. So like give him an autograph. And so I was talking with Aaron. I was like, if someone did a friendly on you, it almost was more disrespectful than a fatality. It was
like, you ain't worth killing.
Yeah,
right.
I guess I'll be friends with you.
So I love that little beat on the end of it too, where especially with like the fire in the background, you can see it's like, yeah, that was cool that they included that. This is kind of what I was asking before, so I guess this is the reason for it. But Liu Kang, it says, doesn't perform any of his special moves until they go to Outer World. So this is kind of those like kind of arbitrary, when do you get your powers thing you're talking about, Aaron.
Yeah.
It's there when he performs his gravity-defying bicycle kick in the lizard fight, and then his fireball to Reptile and Shang Tsung after that. And then last one here, the producers had to consult the ratings board frequently to find out how much cursing they could use and how much blood could be shown. In order to make it violent enough for the target audience, yet still carry a PG-13 rating as mandated by the studio. They found out that showing a human death on screen would automatically mean an R rating, which is crazy to me.
Boo.
But the death of a monster or creature would not. This explains why all the human deaths occur off screen, but the deaths of the creatures like Goro could be shown in full.
Thinking back on that,
yeah, that makes sense.
It really bums me out though, because it's like you know what I mean? This is Mortal Kombat. It's in the name.
They were scared. Yeah, they were
definitely scared. That's for sure.
Well, and they wanted kids to go see it. They wanted people, because the people who really wanted to see it were under, a lot more under 18.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But also,
it hurts the movie. It does hurt the movie.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, Bill, what do the Catholics think of this movie?
Well, let's go to commercials and we'll come back and find out.
Julio.
Back.
Hello there.
What did the Catholics have to say? They said a lot. I actually found some crazy shit working on this one.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we talked about this earlier, how, Mortal Kombat, this movie got an A3, but then Mortal Kombat Annihilation got an O. And so I've compiled both reviews from the USCCB, the official ones, because I just want to show like what their reasoning was for these being different. Here's the Mortal Kombat 1995 review. Martial arts fantasy based on a video game in which the mythic god of thunder enlists 3 mortals in the fight to save Earth from monstrous creatures conjured up by a diabolical sorcerer. Directed by Paul Anderson, the adolescent good versus evil yarn blends elaborately staged fights with eye-popping special effects for visually exciting, though generally mindless escapist fare. Much highly stylized violence. Adults, A3. Now here's 2 years later, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Bone-crunching sequel in which 4 muscle-bound humans engage in continual battles with evil, shape-shifting warlords intent on demolishing planet Earth. Directed by John R. Leonetti. I think this is actually the DP of the last film, by the way.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He also shot The Mask.
Ooh.
And
another good-looking movie.
And Detroit Rock City. No, he actually shot some good stuff. Directed by John R. Leonetti, Might Makes Right is the wrong-headed message of this martial arts extravaganza of deadly combat pitting father against son, mother against daughter, and brother against brother. Much nasty fantasy violence and a theme of killing family members. Oh, morally offensive. Now, I find this wording really funny because didn't Jesus say he came to turn father against son?
Yeah.
Didn't he say that? So technically, doesn't that make it less morally offensive?
You know what?
It's just it doesn't make sense why
it doesn't. No, it really doesn't.
Any way you try and calculate it. I did see that one thing I told you, Aaron, that I found was that so the only person that returns from the first one to the sequel is Liu Kang.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And
oh yeah, that's right.
And for Raiden, they recast it as I looked up the actor's name, but he's like a well-known actor.
Yeah, he was.
But
he was.
The reason was because Christopher Lambert, he read the script for the sequel and was like, "This is awful. I'm not doing it," which is crazy because you read the script for the first Mortal Kombat and you still did it. But,
right.
Yeah, he was. It was James Remar in the sequel, who's like in the Warriors. He's Dexter's dad, I think, in the Dexter series. Yeah. So.
I also have here a review from 1995 by Tom Cavanaugh of the St. Louis Review, and this one's more in depth. He agreed with the adult rating. I think basically being like, yeah, this is absolutely an adult rating. What are you talking about? Mm-hmm. I think he actually wanted it to be higher from what it sounds like, but here is his review. Before it was made into the current hit movie, Mortal Kombat was a video game that received a lot of attention because of its violence. The U.S. Catholic Conference adults rating is not just for the violent, bone-breaking martial arts fighting that is the near constant feature of Mortal Kombat. More so, I think the rating is for the darkly mystical, even satanic, subterranean world portrayed in the film, and the bizarre and evil characters that populate that world. There seems to be just a bit too much glorification of this kind of Dungeons and Dragons. There it is. There it is. Fucking did it. Yeah. Went after D&D.
All roads lead back to D&D.
D&D just catching strays for no reason. Oh,
they hate nerds.
Yep.
Dungeons and Dragons fantasy world, then there is a condemnation of it. The premise that the winner of a Mortal Kombat tournament will determine the future for good or evil of all on Earth allows for lots and lots of fighting. The heroes battle all manner of bizarre and otherworldly creatures as they make their way through the subterranean evil kingdom. The evolution of special effects in the last 30 years makes Mortal Kombat seem all too real and cool to kids today, unlike many old movies with similar plots. There's nothing cheap or silly or badly produced about Mortal Kombat. Okay, I would beg to differ with that.
Did you even watch the movie?
Did you watch the movie?
Come on.
Wow.
This gives the movie its violence and its new age mysticism. There it is!
Of course. God dang it. The usual target.
A lot of credibility with impressionable young viewers. And there's another danger here. The fight scenes are so realistic while no one ever seems to bleed or break bones that younger kids truly might try to act out some of these fights at play. More than the cartoon-like and mainly gymnastic martial arts of the Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat's fighting with sticks, kicks, and elbows could hurt kids for real. I mean, we did shit like that, but we didn't need a movie to tell us.
I don't think I ever copied Mortal Kombat after playing it or watching this movie.
I mean, we definitely did fake martial arts stuff on the playground, but it had nothing, like, we would have been doing that anyway.
But yeah, the video game was the release. It's like, if you want to do it, just play the game.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do the moves.
I'm not gonna go beat the shit out of somebody.
You can't do a fatality on the playground.
Well, yeah, and we definitely, and it was all play fighting too. It was never like, we never hurt each other. It was always, like, I kicked,
yeah,
I used my electric powers. Fireball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like shit like that.
Get over here. A lot of that.
I'm Cyclops. You don't get to be Cyclops.
Right.
X-Men. I'm then different. We played X-Men a lot. Anyway.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
That's for another episode.
I definitely did this a lot with the Wolverine.
Yeah. No, you gotta have your or like if you could do it with Raphael too if you're a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
He's holding up 3 fingers right now, just so you know what he's doing.
Yeah. Right.
He's got 3 fingers up like their size, and he's just zing zing. Yeah, around. There you go. The playground.
Good times.
And finally, I do want to talk about the fact that with violence in general, but especially with Columbine happening in the late 90s, there was a lot of concern about video games leading to violence, leading to, school shooters, which was a new thing. And unfortunately is a regular thing now.
Yep.
That we do nothing about.
Yeah.
But one of the targets was video games. And this is a hilarious article from Flushing, Michigan, which is a suburb of Flint, Michigan. Shout out to my buddies in Flint, Michigan. You know who you are. This is from the Clarion Herald, Volume 8, number 12th, 24th of June, 1999. St. Robert Bellarmine Catholic School in Flushing, who are concerned about the recent epidemic of school shootings, want to send a message that violent video games have no place in society. In fact, teacher Tom Ford and the students feel so strongly that video games may be one of the root causes of teen violence that they allowed a steamroller to crush 44 of their own video games, which have been deemed unsuitable. The students formed a group called Students Against Violent Entertainment, SAVE, SAVE, and were instrumental in organizing the video game turn-in. That's sad, man.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for the kids because it's like they're just giving up their like outlet for fun.
Yep.
Pretty much.
I mean, and maybe they shouldn't have been playing Mortal Kombat. I don't know. I mean, it was a pretty violent game. I don't know if I had kids like back then, if I would have been thrilled about it when they're young. But like by the time you're a teenager, it's like, yeah, you're going to see stuff.
Right. You're going to see stuff.
You're of age.
Right. And like, you're the parent. Like, shouldn't you be like keeping your kids away from that sort of thing? Or like,
and also it's just, again, all of this like fear about video games and stuff, and no one wants to do anything about, assault weapons or semi-automatics.
Right.
There's no study that
high capacity
that
magazines
shows that video games do anything when it comes to violence.
No.
We talked about that yesterday too.
Yeah, or TV.
Since these claims were made in the 90s.
Well, here, I mean, I pulled this up as an example of just like the panic around literally any cultural change. When I go digging for this stuff, I find a lot of other tertiary media that is hilarious. And I found an article by a priest named Father Michael Maestri, and he actually blames kiddie planners, like day planners for children, and VCRs as signaling the decline of society.
What?
He opens this article by talking about a previous article that he wrote about stuffed crust pizza being a sign of the decline of society, because it rewards the person rather than work all the way to the crust. You start at the crust and get your reward of just cheesy gooiness immediately. So it's encouraging a lack of discipline.
That's hilarious.
And I want to believe this is all a joke, but it's from a legit. I mean, the ad below it is somebody took out an ad that's, I think it's just they wanted a prayer to Mary, like the Virgin Mary in the newspaper. So it's just a prayer to Mary that looks like an ad.
Oh my God.
It looks like there's a logo for the company that sponsored it. But I mean, like, this stuff is wild. And if you want to know where this article is, if you want to read it, it's in the Clarion Herald. It's from volume number 33, number 25, 28th of December, 1995. You can read about how stuffed crust pizza is the devil.
Hilarious.
I love it.
Well, what do you think? Did we like this movie? Would we recommend it?
I don't know. Like I said, the bar is in hell for video game movies.
Yes,
so
it is.
True that.
Yes,
I would say, I think my takeaway was I was a huge fan of the games growing up, and this movie has a lot of nostalgia for that. It
does, yeah.
Does it hold up? No, it doesn't hold up. Like, the effects don't, the fighting doesn't. There's so much good, like, action movies and fighting games that, like, can fill that hole if you're looking for it, that it's kind of made this a little obsolete. But, the stuff we talked about, like, the lighting, the production design, and just seeing these characters like in a live action format is kind of fun. And the soundtrack, of course.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it for probably fans of the games or just video games in general if you're mildly curious. But I still would say there hasn't been a good Mortal Kombat live action movie yet. The remake does some stuff better, but I get a lot of stuff wrong too, just like this movie. So I'm hoping the sequel does it right. But again, the bar is so low and they still haven't managed to jump it. And I'd also recommend the animated Mortal Kombat movies before I would recommend this one.
Those
too.
actually sound really good.
Dude, I was telling you, like the Joel McHale as Johnny Cage, like they do like great voice casting and they go super ultra violent with the killing and stuff like that, which is like what you want. That's the bare minimum you should have.
It's the brand. It's literally what it's all about.
Yep.
So it's like it's kind of pointless to watch a PG-13 sanitized version, but that's kind of what this is. So that's my. What about you, Aaron? Would you recommend this movie or?
Honestly, I would recommend watching it.
Okay.
Not in a take it seriously. This is a film that you need to watch now. Change your life. Sit down, change your life. It'll take your soul. No, it would just. I just watch it for just how stupid it is. Just do that. just do that and just have a good time with it. Like,
it is tough though, because we took a trash cinema course.
Yes, and that's the thing.
We're very studied in the art of like trash films and how to enjoy them.
Look at my bookshelf; it's just filled with them.
And I would say, I don't know about you, Theo, this is not one that passes the that line of like going into fun trash,
right?
Because it takes itself so serious,
right?
Which can it can result in
it could go out the other side of it,
but it just doesn't here because again you're missing what you want, which is that over the top violence, and the characters are just nothing, like absolute nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if it just if it stuck to more like staples of what Mortal Kombat does, so the fatalities.
That Shaolin Monks game sounds cool. Like if they did something like that.
No, cool. Well, like I've been saying this for years. Idea. Like do like a Shaolin Monks movie. Come up with another Shaolin Monks game. Like that style was different, but it was still fun, especially playing with friends because you guys could take down enemies together. There were fatalities that were cooperative, too. So you could do stuff like that too. Like and
like allegiances would be fun. Like people, like crisscrossing and like align with each other, and then maybe there's like somebody double crosses somebody. That stuff's great.
There needs to be some of that. More fun for sure.
Yeah, there needs to be more fun like that for sure. So I would still recommend watching this movie just to see how
balance out all the violence.
Yeah, to balance to have that. Yeah, absolutely. So I'd still recommend watching it, but like I don't know, like get high or something.
Oh yeah, we were drinking during it.
But we're not saying like
you need to have some substance.
Right? Yeah, we're not saying that. No, just like
I'd still reading like this isn't like your imprimatur. This isn't like I fully endorse this movie, but like I would say just watch it.
Yeah, just to check it out.
Again, mildly curious.
Yeah,
maybe just once, and you can be on your phone while you're watching. You definitely don't have to pay attention.
No, you don't. You definitely don't
learn anything.
I didn't. I just I took notes, but I was like kind of checked out.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I feel like I definitely don't give this my imprimatur, but like, if you're in the mood for a goofy martial arts flick, you could definitely watch it. I mean, the problem is there's so many better ones that are like trashy. Yeah. There are ones that are trashy. There are ones that are excellent.
I would even recommend Bloodsport before this. Like I said, Bloodsport's a better version of this.
Yeah, and like if you like the scorpion scene, for example, go watch the Once Upon a Time in China movies. They're like that for like an entire movie. Just like incredible acrobatic. Jet Li is at his peak in that movie, in that series, and then the ones that follow up after him are also great. There's just a lot of Hong Kong cinema that is better than this.
Well, there's so much better at like you feeling the impact of the punches and stuff like that, and like using the set. Like in this one, I would just remember like the Goro fight where he's just throwing people and you're just seeing people like jump onto the floor, like reactions. And that's like all his fight was.
That's my struggle is I'm watching this going like, this is obviously riffing off of both Japanese and Chinese action cinema. Yet it doesn't feel like the people making it have watched enough of that kind of
doesn't have the flavor. It's missing the flavor to it.
And then you don't and then honestly you should have cast everybody except maybe Lambert, have them all be martial arts stars.
Yeah, like we were on a break, but I said like the guy who plays Liu Kang, Robin Shu or Show, he is a martial arts champion.
And you can tell.
Tell like the way that he's built and the way that he's, that's why he has the most fighting scenes. But like, if the whole cast was there and doing that and helping out with that, I think that might have improved it for sure.
Yeah, so that was my main thing was like, if you're trying to do the Hong Kong thing or even like a Japanese martial arts film, like get the people in, bring the people in.
That's what the Matrix did.
Yeah,
that's what the Matrix did.
Yes, it did do that. That's right. Yeah.
Well, and the Matrix you can tell the Wachowskis love,
and even though
that kind of
the cast wasn't. They didn't come in trained with that. They had those guys train them for months beforehand, so they were, like were able to do all those stunts and choreography.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
so it just takes that. You just like you said, you need someone who's in that world that can do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if it's low budget, I mean, there are ways around that. Part of that is just hire people who are stunt people. Like they don't have to be great actors because the movie is fighting, and you didn't book. Not to be like rude or anything, but you didn't necessarily all book great actors in this movie.
Oh, for sure not.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the value in having them if they're not like incredible stunt people?
Yep.
So all of them, some of them.
Yeah, we're in an incredible time in terms of like stunt type movies too. There's been some incredible action movies in the last few years.
I just watched Nobody and loved it.
Nobody's great.
Yeah.
I mean, anything with the John Wick guys that they do, like Bullet Train is fun.
Yeah, anything they touch, I'm just like, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, it's hard to recommend this one when there's so much better out there.
Yeah.
All right. So that about wraps it up for this episode. Aaron, where can people find you?
Yes, so people can absolutely find me on like Twitch, TikTok, Threads. You can just find me all under the same name, Divine Gamer Arma. It's all one word. You can just find me there, and you can interact with me. I talk about video game stuff all the time. I just love talking about it. And
any games you're like currently playing right now?
Yeah, so Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. I am going.
You're doing it?
I am.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm going through that right now.
Check that out. Yeah.
And also, let me see here.
I know you talking about Devil May Cry. Did you beat that though? Already?
Not yet. No.
You're going through the whole
yeah, I'm on Devil May Cry 4 right now, and I'm having a blast with that. Loving that, and it's about to be October, so there's plenty of spooky stuff coming. I will be playing Little Nightmares 3. I've been waiting for that, and I'm so ready to scream my pants off. So, yeah,
awesome.
So it's gonna be fun.
And of course, spiritual warfare.
Oh, spiritual warfare. Totally. Yeah,
gotta clean up those slums.
Gotta clean up the slums. Yep. Watch out for them jail cells full of dynamite. Watch out. My God. Oh man.
Man. Well, you can find us at Threads, Instagram, TikTok. We are on YouTube now. All of those, we are at Morally Offensive 666, which I love because every time someone I don't want interacting with us tries to interact with us, they ask,
point it out.
What's up with that devil shit?
Yeah. It's an instant, why should I listen to you?
Why should I listen to you? You're demonic.
Yeah.
Which I love. It's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Threads is completely normal.
Totally.
And,
completely normal people.
So much better than Twitter.
Yeah.
So much according to people.
Mm-hmm.
It was initially. It's gotten pretty bad.
Well, now that there's more users on Threads than Twitter now,
I know.
Where do you think all those people from Twitter went?
Oh, yep. I found them. They found us. They found me.
They found you.
People were like celebrating that, and I'm like, guys, that's not a great thing. Not a good thing.
We were having fun on Threads before
when
these people
when it was
showed
a
up.
niche thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
But yeah, we're on there. If you want to check out my music stuff, I am DJ Mr. Automatic on Instagram and TikTok. I've been doing more music stuff lately, so definitely check that stuff out. I'm doing weird synthesizer shit, so definitely come in and hang out and say hi. You got anything, Cisco, or do you want to be left alone?
Mortal Kombat! No, you can just find me at misfit_minded. That's my movie pages. Yeah, my movie page.
Awesome.
Everywhere.
Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of Mortally Offensive. If you like what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. This absolutely helps us gain traction and raise awareness about the show. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. This is the thing you can do that costs nothing, that helps boost the awareness of our show, our ratings, and everything we are doing. Please join us again in 2 weeks as we go on up to the lab and see what's on the slab with Richard O'Brien's campy cult musical classic. I'm, of course, talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And as always, go and sin no more. Oh, he's got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hold real quick. Hold for...
Yeah, sirens. Ooh. I'm hearing that too. Dude, I'm fucking hot, by the way, too. Whew.
They're coming for us. They found out we're making a morally offensive podcast.
Oh, no.
I'm sweating.
It's okay. I'll go talk to him. Sorry, officer. We didn't know people could hear our podcast outside.
Yep.
You know, the one time the cops showed up we had this party house in Chicago that my buddy lived at. We used to throw raves in the basement, and they never busted our packed parties. But then we got busted on a Tuesday night having band practice because we were too loud. There was like 3 of us. The one time the cops show up, we're just having band practice.
That's funny.
Damn, what is going on?
Who killed somebody? Like, what's happening?
Yep.
Are we in the slums or what?
Right.
the slums of spiritual warfare.
The slums of spiritual warfare.
Throwing grapes at people.
We're in the game world now. What did you do?
I gotta convert the heathens in the prison.
Oh no! Prison's
so
full
I can
of dynamite.
Get to Demon Lair 1 and 2 and then fight Satan.
Oh my God.
This is from spiritual warfare if anyone's listening.